And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Gorman versus Loving. Step forward.
45-year-old Vincent Gorman is suing his ex-girlfriend, 25-year-old Courtney Loving, for the cost of a Lincoln Town Car. Courtney claims the car was a gift from Vincent.
Mr. Gorman, it is your claim that Miss Loving, who was a girlfriend of yours, owes you for a used car that you purchased for her. Miss Loving says it was a gift. So there are certain things that I think we can agree upon, Miss Loving, so I'm going to turn to you. First, we can agree on the fact that you and Mr. Gorman were in a relationship for a brief period of time, having met in June of 2006. Is that correct?
Yes.
This car was purchased in July of 2006. Is that correct, Mr. Gorman?
Yes.
And you decided you had had enough of Mr. Gorman at the end of July of 2006. Is that correct?
August.
At the end of August or the beginning of August?
Like the middle of August, our relationship.
Middle of August. You decided you had enough of him. And what you got out of this brief 8-week relationship is a car. So far, am I correct? Are those the facts?
Yes, those are the facts.
Facts. Simple, right?
Yes.
So I'd like you to tell me, how old are you?
25 years old.
Who do you live with? Is over here, looking someplace else. Try looking here and tell me who you live. It's a simple question. If I ask anybody out there, I say, who do you live with? They would say, my wife, my children, my husband. Don't look up at the sky. Who do you live with?
My 2 children and my mother.
How did you get to work when you met him in June of 2006?
I had my own car.
So you didn't need a car?
Yes, which I expressed to Mr. Gorman.
No, just a minute. So you didn't need a car?
No.
Did your mother have a car?
No, she did not.
So there was one car for the entire family?
Yes.
So it would have been nice to have 2 cars?
Yes.
How old are you, Mr. Gorman?
45.
25, 45. It's getting to be a stretch. You do understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you want to tell me, sir, how it came about that this car was purchased and when it was purchased in July of 2006?
It was purchased July the 22nd, 2006.
Tell me how it came about, Mr. Gorman.
We was right down the street.
In whose car?
In my car. And she said, oh, baby, look, there's a Lincoln for sale. I said, okay, let's stop and see what he wants for it. So we stopped and we checked it out, and he offered the good price. So she said, well, you know, I really like that car. I said, well, do you have money for this car? She said, no, but I would have some money. She said, around about 30 days, I can give you some money if you purchase this car for me. So I said, how much? She said, I give you $1,000 in 30 days, and then $150.
Did she say where she was getting the $1,000 from?
She said that she was finna start working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay.
So I gave her the money for the car.
Did you write her a check?
No, I paid cash.
Let me see the bill of sale.
Right here, yeah.
Well, this is an application for Michigan title and registration.
Yes, yeah.
This is what you used to register the car, Miss Loving?
Yes, I switched from my own car to the new car.
What'd you do with the old car?
I gave it to my mother.
How did I know that? Now, that happened on July the 22nd. When did you decide that you were no longer interested in Mr. Gorman?
When I was a half an hour late from work, on my way on the freeway home, I did not hear my phone ringing. I had the music loud on the freeway. So I seen my phone light up. I answered my phone. He said, why haven't you answered the phone? I've been calling you for a half hour. And I said, well, I didn't hear my phone ringing. He was like, where are you at? I said, I'm on the freeway on Gratiot. He said that he had already, picked up the kids from school and that he was at Kmart. And I said, so what did you get from Kmart? I said, or did you go looking for me? And he said, yes, I did. I said, so you have my children with you and you were looking for me because I haven't answered my phone in a half an hour? And he said, yes. So we stayed on the phone the whole trip to the house. Basically, I could hear the echo of the kitchen on the phone, and he was lying, like making up this whole elaborate thing about him out looking for me. So I said, I'm on the phone with him still. I said, I need a cigarette. So I go to the gas station, which is 2 blocks from the home that we were living in, which was Mr. Gorman's property.
Just a minute. So you were living with him?
Yes. I moved out of my house because it was my apartment.
When did you move in with him?
At the beginning of August.
With your 2 children?
Yes. I had moved in with him for about a month. Mr. Gorman pressed that I get another car. And I'm like, well, I don't really need another car. I got my Reba, which is what I call my car. So he said that if he going to be driving the Lincoln, he wanted his girl to be driving in the Lincoln. He wanted it to be nice. Just look nice driving a car. When I go somewhere with him, he wants, me to look nice. So we were driving down the street, and we had been looking for cars that weekend. And he said, oh, baby, they're going Lincoln. Oh, and they only want $3,400 for it. So we turn around, and he was like, you like that? I said, yeah, it's nice. But I was just still kind of adamant because I didn't really want a new car. So we took it for a test drive and everything. We went to the bank on Saturday morning, He went and withdrew the money to purchase the car. There was no agreement saying that I was going to pay him anything back. Even on the night when we broke up, I said, so what do you want to do about the car and the phone? He said, well, I'm not a petty person. I know you need the car to get back and forth to work. He said that you won't have any problems unless I see another man driving the car, which I know my allegations were right. Because he was always accusing me of lying. Like I said, I was a half hour late getting home from work. He drew up this elaborate story. I got back to the house. He said,
When did he come to collect his first payment on the car?
He never came to collect a payment. There was no agreement for a payment.
You said that you went to collect a payment, Mr. Gorman. When was that?
That was on the 21st of August.
Tell me what happened.
I rung her doorbell. She did not respond. So I knocked on the window. She still didn't respond. So I went over there to the car, and I went to put my key in the car, and my key wouldn't work.
Had the lock changed on the car?
Yes, after he came to my house banging on my doors and windows, and I knew that after he got my cell phone cut off the next day after we broke up, that he was going to come for my car. I was going to come home from work, and my car would not be there. So I didn't trust him after he got my cell phone cut off, knowing that my daughter has asthma.
Miss Loving, do you think that Mr. Gorman feels like a fool?
I don't know how he feels.
Well, how would you? Let me ask you a question, madam. Do your two children have the same father?
No, they do not.
Let's say father of child number one came back into your life, but he said, listen, I've got to clean up some old debts. So what I'd like you to do is, could you please take an advance on your salary or go and take out a loan because I'm having some difficulty. And you go and take out that loan for him. And 2 days later, he's gone. How would you feel?
Upset, that is happening.
Like a fool, right? So now you have a car and your mother has a car. And 3 weeks after he purchases this car, he doesn't have a car and he doesn't have his girlfriend. How do you think he feels?
He probably felt upset.
Like a fool.
I asked him the
Well,
night we
and
broke
when you
up,
said to him,
what do you
when you
want?
said to him, what do you want to do about the car?
And the cell phone.
No, forget cell phone. Byrd, you see where it says signature of seller? That's where she's going to sign it. Right now. That's where she's going to sign it. Right now. Because he made a mistake with you, Miss Loving.
No, he
Sign
didn't.
it now. Right where it says seller. Because a couple of months ago, you said, what do you want to do about the car if I believe you? And he said, I'm not a petty person. All of a sudden, he's become a petty person. Now he wants the car back. Now you can give it to Mr. Gorman. He has his car back. Thank you very much. Goodbye and good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Why is that accused? May step out.
Yeah, I feel she used me from day one.
Real controlling, very insecure.
I just gave her room to hang herself, and she did it.
My children are going to have to catch the bus in the cold.
Bring the Judge Judy, because she's real.
28-year-old Eugene Tondo is suing the mother of his children, 27-year-old Amanda Petrie, for money loaned to move out of his home. Amanda claims Eugene kicked her out while she was pregnant.
Come to order. All rise. Your Honor, this is case number 492 on the calendar in the matter of Tondo versus Petrie.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Mr. Tondo, you and Miss Petrie have 2 children together. You've never been married. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
How old are your children?
4 and 2.5, almost 3.
And in what state did you live?
Minnesota.
Where do you live now?
I live in Texas. That's where I'm from.
Where do you live now?
I still reside in Minnesota.
Your complaint, Mr. Tondo, alleges a loan to the defendant, which she was paying for several years. And then when she left Minnesota with your children and moved to Texas, she stopped paying the loan. You want her to continue paying the loan.
Correct.
Ms. Petrie says that she was coerced into signing a paper or agreeing to repay this money. It was never intended to be a loan. And now that she's in Texas, she's not paying you another dime. Let's see. When did you make this loan and what was it for, sir?
I originally took out the loan, Your Honor, in March of 2004. It was to get Amanda into an apartment of her own. She was living with me, but we were not together at the time. She had just moved back from North Carolina, where she had relocated to go live with her sister for a while.
And she took your child with her?
Yeah, at the time we had just our son, Gino.
Were you happy about her going to live with her sister?
No, not at all.
Actually, his exact words were, I don't care. My sister was standing next to me. He wasn't involved. He wasn't paying child support.
Well, he must have been together with him at some point if your sister was in the room when he said, I don't care.
I went and told him, and she came with me.
No.
You told him what?
That I was thinking of moving to North Carolina, that he and I didn't get along. He was verbally and emotionally abusive, and it wasn't good for me, and it wasn't good for our son. He wasn't paying support at the time, and that I needed a fresh start.
And he said?
And he said, I don't care, whatever.
Actually, Your Honor, that's not true at all. I was paying support to her directly. And the manner of which she broke this news to me was we were actually at a bowling alley, and she had got furiated about some silly thing and then said, well, I'm moving to North Carolina, and just picked up and walked away. And it wasn't like a calm, cool, collected. She
Was
didn't
it in a
come to me
bowling
and
alley
explain
that you
to me.
told him this?
I did tell him.
Fine. Got it. Okay. Then you went to North Carolina. That didn't work out. You
And he
came-
wasn't paying child support.
Moved back to Minnesota? At what point?
I moved back at the end of November of '03. He convinced me to move back. We had found out I was pregnant with our daughter now, and I wasn't going to move back, and he convinced me to move back, that he had made mistakes, and he was going to be more involved. And then a week after we moved back, he had decided that living in his house was too much of a family unit, and we just argued all the time. And then in March of '04, 3 weeks before I was due with our daughter, he kicked us out. He didn't take the loan out to help me. I wasn't searching for an apartment. I had no job at the time. I was due in 3 weeks. He took it out, didn't discuss it with me, had no idea, and said, you need to get out of my house. I let him know, I don't have a job. I'm due in 3 weeks. Where do you expect us to go? And he said, well, I took out a loan. So I didn't know about it. I've never signed anything.
Okay, let's go.
That, again, not the case. We had discussed it before. We were not together at the time. Yeah, she was living with me. I, at the time, had still originally purchased this house with a friend. So there was a couple roommates there, and it wasn't an environment for, 2 kids. There was, 2 other, mid-20-year-old men living there. So I let her live there as an accommodation until we could find something.
So you were living with him in a house with other adult males?
They lived in the basement, yes.
With other adult males?
Yes.
Did you share a room with him?
Yes.
In that house?
Yes.
Okay, so you're sharing a bedroom?
Correct.
So far, you're losing my sympathy, Mr. Tunda.
Well, it was an unfortunate circumstance. I mean, we had to do what we had to do, and that's why. I didn't kick her out. I brought up a proposition that I felt would be beneficial for both of us to get her into a place with, more room before our daughter was born.
Why? Who was going to be there to help her?
Who was going to be there to help her?
That's my
We
question.
had gotten a place, 15, 20 minutes away from my house. So
that's 15 or 20 minutes. She's expecting a baby. She's living in Minnesota. I assume she has no family in Minnesota.
She did not have any family per se, but my family had taken it on as like her own.
She had no family in Minnesota. She's due in 3 weeks. Your child.
Yep.
So it would seem to me you'd want to keep her around at least until she's back up on her feet after the baby is born. This doesn't seem like the appropriate time to find her a new space, Mr. Tunda.
Well, I felt it was more appropriate before the baby was born than after.
You're wrong. It was selfish and babyish.
I disagree.
I don't give a rat's tutu whether you agree or disagree, sir. You want me to take a poll as to whether or not most mature adult males would say it was appropriate to find an 8.5-month pregnant woman who's got a 1-year-old a place of her own in a town where she has no family? Sir, you want me to take a poll?
No.
You don't want to. You don't want a poll there, sir. Believe me.
I don't think it's necessary.
Believe me, you don't want a poll. It was a selfish thing to do. So you took out a loan. You got her an apartment.
Correct.
Right? Well, you didn't expect her to pay the rent, did you?
Well, not
How was she
right
supposed
away.
to pay the rent? 8.5 months pregnant.
Well, not right away, but that's why we took out the loan when she started working.
Let's see when.
When she started working.
Well, when did you think she was going to start working?
I would assume roughly 6 to 8 weeks after her daughter was born.
Right. And just a second. And what was she supposed to do with a 6-week-old baby and a 1-year-old baby? What was she supposed to do with those?
Well, it's not like she was just on her own. I mean, obviously, I was an active parent involved in paying support, so she had the support that I was paying her.
Just a second. That's not being an active parent.
I don't understand. What's not being an active parent?
Giving money is not an active parent.
No, that was to help the situation. I'm not defining being an active parent by taking out a loan.
Well, what did you do when she got this apartment by herself? Did you go over there every day?
I was over there quite a bit, actually.
That's not my question. Did you go over there every day to take care of your son?
Well, I wouldn't say every day.
Well, what did you expect her to do with the baby and a new baby when you weren't there? What did you expect her to do?
Your Honor, it's a circumstance where, unfortunately, we weren't together and it didn't work out, but I felt I did what I could to help her out, and, my family...
So then what are you doing here? My question to you, sir, is what are you doing here? You took out a loan to get her an apartment so she could be on her own after impregnating her twice.
Well, I'm here to... a loan is the key word. She agreed to pay, and she faithfully paid on it for 2 years on the loan, and then once I filed for custody of my children, because she picked up and moved to Texas with 5 days notice...
Well, that was a bad thing for her to do, to pick up and move to Texas if you were a good and involved father.
Because she has only her best interest in mind, not the interest of the children, hence the reason that I filed for custody.
And you only have the best interest of the children in mind.
Actually, I do, Your Honor.
Then what are you doing here?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She said, oh, that's the grandma.
There are a lot of curse words that go on in a labor and delivery room. I guarantee you that she called you a couple of names, too. If she didn't, she probably meant to.
And later today...
Well, I paid over $900 to ship her stuff back, which...
As well you should.
I don't agree.
Whether you agree with me, Mr. Potts, is not particularly relevant in my life.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Eugene Tonda says the mother of his children, Amanda Petrie, owes for a loan to move out of his house. Amanda claims Eugene put her out of the home when she was 8.5 months pregnant.
How much support were you paying 2 years ago?
When we had just our son born, I was giving her about $400 a month.
$400 a month?
A month.
That's
What do you-
incorrect. Okay.
Giving her $200 every 2 weeks.
And what do you give her now
$800.
every 2 weeks?
No, $800 a month is what the court has ordered me to pay.
Well, that's the same thing as you were paying her before for one child. Now you're giving her the same amount for 2 children.
Right, which is double. And normally it's only a 10% increase from the first one to the second one. So
That doesn't sound like, sir, the best interest of the children percentage. It's usually a 10% increase.
yeah, 25% of your income for the first one, and then in Minnesota it's 35%.
No,
so,
that's not, sir. You don't get confused.
Well, I know it's not
Those are the
10%.
minimum federal child support guidelines, which have been adapted in every jurisdiction. That's the minimum. Do you work?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm in school.
Who takes care of the children?
They go to a Child Builders Christian school. It's a private preschool.
And who pays for it?
I do.
How much do you pay for daycare?
$650 a month.
Okay, so she pays $650 a month. And how much of the daycare do you pay, Mr. Tonda?
I believe a portion of the total support goes to that. I do nothing specific.
That's not what I asked you.
Well, I don't pay anything directly to the...
Right. So if we take away what you pay, which is $800 a month, from the $650 that she pays just to keep the children so that she can work, we have a grand total of $150 a month. So I'm speaking. I'm speaking. We're going to divide that by 2 equals $75 a month for each child. And that we're going to divide by 30 equals $2.50 a day is what you pay for each of your children in child support.
May I speak now, Your Honor?
Sure.
Okay. I don't know her exact financial situation, but obviously I want to be involved to the point where I'm filing for custody of my children. And the fact is that she must not be hurting too bad because she's obviously able to afford a lawyer to fly up to Minnesota to try to fight from keeping me from having the opportunity to have my kids reside in the state where I live.
Mr. Tonda, I want you to listen very carefully, sir. I have tremendous sympathy for non-custodial parents who don't see their children. And I have usually very little sympathy for custodial parents who pick up and move away and make it difficult for the non-custodial parents to see their children. Usually. But let me explain to you, sir, that in this case, Miss Petrie followed you from Wisconsin to Minnesota, where you live, 2 times, right?
Correct.
And when she came back the second time, she had a baby, and it didn't work out. You say, I fulfilled my obligation. I set her up in an apartment because I wanted to be close to my children, paid the rent so it would be comfortable and easy for her, and gave her $200. But out of that $200, I expected her to work with 2 children, and to pay for daycare, and to pay me back my loan. Do you see why sympathy is waning for you, Mr. Tonda?
Your Honor, the state was picking up the majority of the tab of the daycare when they were in Minnesota, so the situation that we had in Minnesota was perfectly fine.
No, it wasn't working fine. You put her out and put her in her own apartment. And what you're supposed to say, Mr. Tonda, is, I'm sorry for bringing you to court. It was a stupid thing for me to do because I have found a very unsympathetic judge who doesn't find that this was a loan. The court finds that it was a very comfortable way for you to stay in your house with your 2 bachelor boyfriends and get rid of your responsibility that you didn't have to deal with on a regular basis, which clearly, according to your own testimony, you didn't. You weren't at her apartment every day after the baby was born, taking care of your son, taking care of your daughter.
Well, maybe 6 out of 7 days. I don't, you know.
Yeah, baloney. Coming over and spending an hour is not being there to do the job of a parent, sir.
Than an hour.
And I'm not saying that she was smart to have a second child with you.
No.
1 mistake I can understand. 2 is dumb.
I agree.
But it takes 2 to tango.
It does.
What I'm telling you is, right now, the mother of your 2 children seems to be taking care of her financial responsibilities relatively comfortably. She's got a job, she pays for daycare, and she's doing that with marginal help from you.
Well,
Marginal.
unfortunately, with her picking up, moving 1,300 miles away,
Where
what I
did
can
you
do
expect
becomes
her, listen to me, sir,
automatically
where did you
marginal.
expect her to move to? You expected her to move to a jurisdiction that was closer to you where she had nobody?
No, she picked up and gave me 5 days notice when I'm supposed to have my kids for a Christmas vacation, and she calls and tells me they're not coming and she's moving to Texas.
Right, that's where her family is, though. That's where her family is, right?
Her mother, who she
Just a
said
second.
nothing but bad things about the whole
Her
time.
mother
I've known
and
her.
who else?
Her brother lives a few hours away.
Got a mother and a brother.
Yep.
What do you do for a living?
I work for a cell phone company,
Which cell phone company?
Verizon Wireless.
Good. They have offices in Texas. Why don't you move there?
It's
Listen to me. That's where your family is, sir. Your 2 children are in Texas. Her support system is in Texas.
She had a tremendous support system from my family too.
Now, her family's not your family.
Right.
You want to be near your children?
Your Honor, can I talk
Go to
for a minute?
Texas.
When our son was being delivered and her mother had called and she was holding our son, this is how much she adores her mother. She said, "Oh, that's the grandma
No, I
over
did
the phone,
not.
and we have it on
Mr.
videotape, Your Honor. So
Mr.
for her
Tanda,
to say that that's an excuse
Mr.
to move down there and have her support system,
Mr.
she doesn't
Tanda.
even barely get along with her mom.
Mr. Tanda, you get along with your mother?
I do get along with my mom.
Ever not get along with your mother, sir?
I never
Did you
bad-
ever not get along with
I
your
would, but I
mother?
never badmouth my mom.
Did you ever
to
not
everybody
get
I know.
That's not what I asked you. Did you ever not get along with
Of
your
course,
mother?
as much as everybody probably hasn't.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you something. There are a lot of curse words that go on in a labor and delivery room. A lot. I guarantee you that she called you a couple of names, too. If she didn't, she probably meant to. So let me explain something to you, sir. You don't have a profession where you're licensed to practice only in the state of Minnesota. And if I were you and if I wanted to see my children, I would call up my boss and I would say, please took you find there?
Uh,
me a place
My brother,
in
he
Texas
got,
so you could be a
a call
lot
from my
closer to
friend
your
Joel
children
that
if
there was a
that's
party
in your
going on,
mind.
and
But
sure
based
enough,
upon
a
what
bunch of
I
guys not
hear,
having anything to
you
do, we
wanted
decided
her
to
out
go.
of the house.
So you weren't invited
You
by
took
the
out a
people
loan.
who
I see
were
no
throwing the
reasonable
party.
expectation
And as far as
for the
you know,
foreseeable
none of your
future of
group
you
was
being paid
invited.
back
You
any
just
money
were
from
told that
somebody
there
who
was
has
a party.
2 babies,
And you showed
no
up.
job,
Yes.
living
How
in a
many
place
of
where
you
she has
showed
no
up?
family.
4.
I don't see any reasonable
myself.
expectation
And
of
where
you
had
being
you been
paid back,
before?
sir.
We were
And
at a
that's
buddy's
part
house
of
just
a
hanging out,
contract. If it's a
playing
loan,
pool.
you did the right
Drinking?
thing if
No,
you weren't getting
just nice
along
weather.
and
We
helping
were just
her
hanging
get
out,
set
looking
up.
for something to
Don't
do.
be a
So you
fool
got there
now,
about
Mr.
11:30.
Tanda. The case is
And how many
dismissed.
people were at the
That's all.
party when you got there?
Roughly 40,
Once you
35.
got the paperwork that I was
Were you
filing for
introduced to
actual
the
custody of
people
my
who were
children,
You don't kick someone
Not
out 3
necessarily
weeks before they're due
throwing
with a
the party,
child.
he said, well, then I'm going to stop
You know,
paying
we're
you on
just
that
there
loan.
You could have waited
Do you
up.
know who was
you
throwing
know,
the party?
a few months after I had
Who
the
would that
baby when
be,
I was
Mr.
stable, had a
Archibald?
job.
It was actually my friend
Well,
Scott
then I'll,
Hodges. It was his
take you to
birthday
court.
party
She
at the
said,
time.
go ahead.
And
And
there
then
was
I
actually
could've done
more
everything
like
on my own,
about
and this
100
would've never
people
taken
there.
place.
And there was plenty of
year-old
alcohol and
Jonathan
everything.
Kwasniewski
It was
is
a toxic
suing
time.
Why did you not
21-year-old
volunteer
Luke
information that I
Archibald
didn't
for
ask
beating
for?
him up at a
Sorry,
party.
I know you want to
Luke
get it all out.
claims
I do things in a very
Jonathan has the
orderly,
wrong
organized
guy.
fashion.
All rise.
Got it? So it was your friend whose party?
Scott Hodges.
Scott Hodges. You see, if you just concentrated
That's
on
case number
answering my
338
question,
on
I would have
calendar, matter of
understood you.
Kwasniewski versus
Did you know
Archibald.
who Scott Hodges was?
Twice been sworn in,
Who were
Your Honor.
you?
You may be seated. Gentlemen,
Did you
have a
know who
seat.
Scott Hodges
Kwasniewski, it
was?
is your claim that the
How
defendant
old was
assaulted
Scott
you at a
Hodges?
house party?
He
Says
just
he
turned
did
21
not
at the
assault
time.
you.
And
He
this was
knows
at
that
his
you were
parents'
injured.
house?
He doesn't know how
And they
that
were
happened. He certainly
interact.
knows it wasn't
They were
when
indisposed
and where
at the
was
time.
this
They were
party?
not in.
They
It
weren't
was on March
indisposed.
25th,
Out,
26th.
out,
I'm not
yeah.
sure where
I'm
it was
sorry.
at.
What do you mean you're not sure
They
where it was
weren't
at?
home.
Yeah,
I don't know
yes,
the
ma'am.
cross streets
Okay,
where
so
I was
tell me
at.
what
I was in
happened when you
Arvada,
got there,
Colorado.
sir.
We get there and we see that there's hardly any alcohol left, none at all. So we're, wanting to entertain ourselves, just talking around, meeting new people. And I'm just sitting there and I'm talking to this one fellow, Corey. And, I'm talking to him, he has a big scar on his face. He said he got hit with a bat, so conversation goes on. He sees my friend Jeff and his twin brother. And he says, I know you guys. You guys are the kids that jumped my friend. And he started getting, worked up. So I'm saying, hey, Corey, just, relax, just, pat him on the back. Next thing, he pushes me off and says, get the F off me. So I'm like, whoa, okay. So as soon as that happens, the whole crowd looks at me like I did something wrong. Almost as if I punched him in the face, just out of nowhere. So the whole crowd looks at me with just everybody staring at me, just wanting to beat me up. And I turn around and some kid hits me in the face, just punches me in the face. And I'm standing there like, what in the heck is going on? And Jeff comes up and says, Quas, don't mess around with this because we're outnumbered. It's like 4 of us and
100
of them. Okay, and so I'm like, okay, some guy gets in my face, talks crap, I don't do anything. I say, I'm sorry. Another kid gets in my face, says, well, you're gonna pay for what you did. I was like, I didn't do anything, Another kid gets in my face, blah, blah, blah. Next thing I know is I'm getting helped up, and I don't remember anything. And when I came to, I was missing my shoes, my face hurt, I don't even remember what happened. I barely even remember jumping the fence because we were trying to get away from those guys.
Okay, so you ended up, according to your complaint, in an emergency room. Do you have the emergency room records?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at them, please. You have the police report?
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at that, too. Anybody arrested for this assault?
No.
You were there with 2 brothers.
My brother and his brother.
What's your name, sir?
Jeff
Jeff what?
Gerber.
Stand up, sir. When, for the first time, sir, did you speak to the police?
I spoke to the police about 4 days afterwards, after this happened.
And what prompted you to speak to the police 4 days afterwards?
They had called me. He went into the doctor's the day after, and he filed the police report then. So I was just waiting for them to contact me so I can give my side of the story.
And when you spoke to the police, what did you tell them, Jeff?
I told him that we went to a party where there was drinking and there was people.
Did you drink?
No, we were only there for about 10 minutes before this happened. And we
But
were.
everybody else was drinking because there was no alcohol left by the time you got there.
Yeah, it was a party, so there was about 100 people, like he
Well,
said.
I just said that when he got there, the alcohol was all gone, which means everybody was pretty well loaded.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And as we were sitting in the back porch of the house, and Corey is the one that had started talking to me about a previous fight that I had been in about a year before that even happened with one of his friends, and tried to get all huff and puffy and tough and started cussing and saying all sorts of stuff. And then, you know, he challenged me to fight him, and then he had challenged John here to fight him out on the back of the lawn, and pretty much everybody heard that and just started coming outside and what's going on, what's going on. And then I had seen John here get punched by a kid, I believe his name was Scott.
Okay, so he got punched by a guy named Scott.
He got punched by a guy named Scott, and then I told John here to just lay off. We don't want to get, you know, jumped here. And then just every kid thought we were out to get him, so they were just, every kid was getting in our faces. And then I looked to my right, I'm standing like with my back towards the building, the house, and I looked to my right, and John here gets sucker punched. He wasn't looking, he was facing forward, while Luke here ran up next to him from his right and sucker punched him in his face.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It was not me who threw the punch and everything. It was actually my friend.
Oh, so you know who hit him?
Yes, kind of. Like.
No.
Yeah.
Listen to me. What's his name?
And later today,
Why didn't you kick him out?
He wasn't living with me.
I mean, kick him out of your life is my question. Because a good man nowadays is hard to find? What is it?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jonathan Kwasniewski claims he was an uninvited guest at a party when he was attacked by Luke Archibek and his friends. Jonathan says his jaw was broken and he was knocked out cold.
When was the first time you met Luke?
That night.
Never seen him before?
Never.
When for the first time that evening had you seen Luke?
Right after he punched him.
So you had not seen him before that evening? That was the first time you saw him. And when was the next time you saw him?
Here.
When you were interviewed by the police 4 days later, you told them that you could identify the person who
They didn't
assaulted
even ask me that. They already knew it was Luke.
Don't tell me what the police knew. I'm looking at the police reports, and I don't see anything about Luke here.
They,
What?
Ma'am, I was never contacted by any.
Shh. You mean you spoke to the police? Did they come to your house?
Oh, they'd called me on my cell phone.
Called you on your cell phone? Did you give them the number?
For him?
Yes. Why did you give them the number?
Because he was there, he was a witness.
And so I assume that you wanted the police to locate the person who caused this injury to you.
I would have loved to, except I didn't know who had punched him.
But the reason you gave the police Jeff's number is because you wanted the police to find the person who had hurt you.
Yes, ma'am.
And Jeff knew the person who had hurt you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Jeff tells me that when he spoke to the police, he didn't tell them the name of the person who hurt you because they didn't ask him. Is that what you're telling me?
Correct.
Well, what questions did they ask you, Jeff?
They asked me exactly who and what happened. I gave them my side of the
Just a second. So you said who and what happened. Just like I did. What did you see and what did you do? You just told me that you saw this young man who you've identified as Luke throw the sucker punch at your friend.
Well,
right? That's what you just told me. Why were you keeping that a secret from the police?
I didn't keep it a secret. I didn't know his name. How I found out his name is that I have a buddy that knows of him, and he had contacted them somehow and found out that his name was Luke. And that's how we all know. And I recognized him once I saw him. Yeah, that's the kid that punched him.
So what you're telling me is 4 days later, you didn't tell the police that you could identify the person who punched him.
I could identify him.
And the police asked you nothing else?
They asked me his name. They didn't ask me what he looked like because obviously he'd be wearing something different 4 days later.
I'm not talking about what he was wearing, sir. This happened 9 months ago. And the first time you've seen him, after you saw him for a moment at this party, 9 months ago, was here in court. And for how long did you see him? You saw him for the first time when he punched your friend. Is that right?
Yes.
And then you saw him run away.
What had happened is that after I saw him punch him, I had rushed up to him and pushed him off, pushed him away, and then that's how his image of his face stuck in my head, and that's when everybody started jumping me, my brother, and his brother.
Okay. On your own 2 feet, sir.
Yes, ma'am. What happened was I was downstairs and I was drinking and everything, and yes, my friend Corey was with me at the time, and we were downstairs.
This is Corey?
Yes, ma'am.
You're the Corey?
No, different Corey. No, not that Corey. But we were downstairs and we were drinking and everything like that, and then this girl comes downstairs and tells me that everyone's fighting out back and that Scott called for some people to come break it up. So we run upstairs, and by the time I get up there, everybody's already fighting. Like I said, it was not me who threw the punch and everything. It was actually my friend that I consort with, and actually that's how I think they know me, is through my friend because we look alike, but no, it was not me.
Oh, so you know who hit him?
Well, yes.
You know who hit him?
Yes, kind of. Like.
No.
Yeah.
Listen to me. So you look very much like him.
Yes, ma'am.
What's his name?
Brian.
Brian what? Look at me. And how do you know that Brian hit him?
Just word around.
Did you tell that? Look at me. Did you tell that to the police?
No, ma'am. Like I said, I've never came in contact with any police officer.
You know the name Brian?
No, ma'am.
You don't? No. Well, you didn't know anybody at this party. You just showed up. Very stupid. You're the other Corey.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your last name?
Clendenning.
Were you downstairs drinking?
I was actually
with Luke?
downstairs not drinking, but yes, I was there.
Tell me what you observed when you went upstairs.
Just a lot of people out back scuffling around, grabbing each other, swinging. It was pretty hectic.
You know this person, Brian?
Yes, I know of him.
You know of him?
Yeah.
Was he at the party?
Yes.
Did you see him up there during the scuffle?
Yes.
Did you see the plaintiff assaulted?
I saw him down when I was outside. When I came out, he was already down.
Did you come up from the basement with the defendant?
I was probably 5 feet behind him.
So you came up together?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you came up together, the plaintiff was already on the ground?
From what it looks like, yes. I mean, there were so many people, and it was him. There was Jeff Lance, which is Jeff's twin brother.
So you know them?
Yes.
How old are you, sir?
20 years old.
What do you do for a living?
I used to work at Lucky Strikes. Now I work for a Coors Brewing Company.
Did you have a lot to drink that night?
I didn't drink at all because I was with my girlfriend. She's kind of judgmental and all that.
I believe you. Anything else you want to tell me?
Yeah. Why would all my friends and his friends tell me that it's him that hit me and not Brian?
Let me explain something to you, sir. That's hearsay.
Right, but Jeff can recognize Luke. Jeff punched Luke in the face.
You have to make a determination when you sit as a fact finder as to whether or not 9 months later, after glimpsing at somebody for a second during a fight, you can make an identification. And I have to be very satisfied, even though this is a civil proceeding, that if I'm going to find somebody guilty of assaulting you, I'm going to find the right person guilty of assaulting you. So what do we have? We have clearly, you were injured. Your jaw was wired up?
Yes.
You were pretty well knocked around? There's no question that somebody during that fight, either one person or more than one person, got the best of you.
Yeah.
No question about that. But you don't know who it was.
Well,
you don't know who it was.
Ma'am, he did the same exact thing to his best friend a month later. Ask him. Go ahead.
I'm not asking him. I don't have his best friend here. This is not a free-for-all. This is not a one-stop shopping. What you have, sir, is a case where you say this young man assaulted you. He may have. But what I'm telling you is, sir, if this is your friend and your friend found out the name of the person who assaulted you 4 or 5 months later, which believe, then his responsibility is to call the police and say, I found out the name of the person. This is his name, because you have a serious assault. Police would have taken him into custody, put him in a lineup, and said, can you pick out the person who you claim committed the assault? This is not an appropriate lineup. 9 months later, when you come into court, and there's one person standing in the defendant's spot, and your friend 9 months later says, well, now I remember. I saw him for a moment 9 months ago, and that's the person. That doesn't give me a secure feeling about saying to him, you're the person who assaulted the plaintiff. Do you understand? Good. Case is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm pleased with it. She is a great, great judge. I caught her on Larry King last night. She's a great person, and I'm very happy with the way things turned out.
Colleen Wilkes is suing her ex-boyfriend, Fred Johnson, for half of a tax return and bail money. Fred says Colleen is a vindictive woman.
All rise. Yes, this is case number 221 on the calendar in the matter of Wilkes versus Johnson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Miss Wilkes, according to your complaint, you dated briefly Mr. Johnson while he was separated from his wife. I assume this is your wife, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
You are now back together again.
Yes.
But during the period of time that you and Mr. Johnson were dating, according to you, you paid all of the expenses with the understanding that he would reimburse you as soon as he got a job or started to get things done right in his life. Then you say that you paid some bail for him. Was it some sort of domestic situation, sir?
It was an order of protection.
It's a domestic situation.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson says that he owes you absolutely nothing, that you lived rent-free in his father's home when you lived together, that the money that you spent from your tax returns, which was the source of that income that you had when you were living together because neither one of you were working, that was your understanding, that that was in lieu of the rent that you were both supposed to be paying. Let me ask you this question, sir. When did you and Miss Wilkes move in together in your father's home?
It's roughly around May
Of what year?
of 06.
Your Honor, we've been together since first part of January, and it was the end of January that we moved into his father's home.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, it sounds
All right, so let's say February you were in his father's home. Where were you living before that?
With my sister.
And you?
I was living with my wife, and then I moved out because of some problems that my son and myself had.
Your Honor, he has a long history of domestic abuse.
Listen, don't give me the whole story. I want to hear about what you claim he owes you.
Yes.
So you lived with his father from February until when?
First part of May. Actually, the middle of May, we moved
February,
into an apartment
March,
together.
April, and May. 4 months.
Correct. And during that time, there was an agreement that there would be no rent paid whatsoever. and that both of us help with the food. And that is when Mr. Johnson told me that he would be happy to pay me back half of the state and federal taxes that I received.
How old are you, Miss Wilkes?
I am 41 years old.
When was the last time you had a place of your own?
I had my place the end of December is when I lost my place.
And how long did you live in that apartment?
I lived there for 4 years.
You lost that apartment because you had no income?
That is correct.
Where had you been working?
I had been working as a cook at a healthcare facility.
When did you lose the job?
In November.
Are you working now?
I am.
Where?
I am a cook at a domestic abuse shelter.
When did you start that job?
I started it about 3 weeks ago.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Johnson?
I worked previously as security, but I am currently employed as a tow truck driver.
Now, when you moved into your father's home, you were there for 4 months. Did you have a lease with your father?
No, ma'am.
Did you have an agreement with regard to rent with your father?
No, ma'am.
So you paid no rent?
Correct.
And you had no income?
Correct.
So you used Miss Wilkes' tax return for your everyday living expenses?
Partially, yes.
What else did you use?
Plasma money. Went to plasma center.
What's plasma center?
Donated plasma.
You donated blood?
Yes.
Well, you can't do that too often, Mr. Johnson, otherwise you lay down and you die. So what I'm asking you, Mr. Johnson, is did you have any sort of gainful employment in the 4 months that you lived with your father?
Yes, I started working for Avalon Fortress Security
When?
in the 4 months. It was about April.
So towards the end of your stay at your father's?
Yes.
So it would be a fair statement that you and Miss Wilkes lived off of her money?
Yes.
Well, that's untenable. Mr. Johnson, you didn't pay for anything. You have children?
Yes.
When you left your wife and you weren't working, and you moved in with Miss Wilkes to your father's house, who supported your children?
Nobody.
What do you mean? You mean they starved? They put them in a freezer?
He stayed with my wife.
The taxpayers did.
The circumstances that brought me to moving out was because my son, my 14-year-old...
I don't care what the circumstances were, Mr. Johnson. I'm asking you how they ate.
He resided with my wife due to the order
Who
of
fed
protection.
him? Do you work?
I'm on Social Security, and my son is also on Social Security.
So, Miss Wilkes is right. The taxpayers supported your children and your wife. How old are your children?
My son is 14.
So you have one child?
Yes, that lives with me. I have 2 other children that are... My rights were removed from them when I was back in high school, and they were taken...
Taken from whom?
Me and my high school girlfriend.
Mr. Johnson, you are clearly a study in responsibility.
Yeah.
Miss Wilkes, did you know all this about him when you... Listen to me. Look at me. Don't look over there. Don't look at the sky. You look at me.
I knew
Did
some
you
of
know most of this when you hooked up
No.
with him?
No
What
way.
didn't you know?
I knew, Your Honor, that he needed some
No, don't tell me
serious
what you
help.
knew. Don't tell me. That's the end result. Did you know he had 3 children?
No, I did not know he had 3 children. I knew he had 1 child.
When did you find out that he had 3 children?
I'd say it was about the beginning of May.
You didn't find out that he had 2 other children until May?
He didn't tell me that he had lost them due to neglect.
That's not what I asked you, Miss Wilkes. I asked you if you knew that he had the 2 other
No.
children.
No.
Is that right, Mr. Johnson?
I told her
When?
when we started talking about my son, and I told her that there's 2 other children involved.
In what month, sir?
Probably mid-February.
So in mid-February, you told her that you had 3 children?
Yes.
When you first started dating?
Yes.
That sounds right to me, Miss Wilkes. It doesn't sound right that he told you about that in May. I don't believe that. I believe that you knew an awful lot about Mr. Johnson.
I didn't know he was as abusive as he is.
Miss Wilkes, I'm not talking about abusive, madam. I'm talking about deadbeat.
Yeah?
I'm talking about
Liar.
irresponsible. And that you knew in February.
Yeah.
Your Honor.
Speak not. That, Miss Wilkes, you knew in February.
Yes.
Then why in the world, madam, would a 41-year-old woman think that this man, who's just left his wife and 14-year-old son without a penny, not working, who has 2 other children that he has no idea where they are, parental rights were terminated, has never supported them, why in the world would you think this man was going to pay you back for your tax return money? Why in the world would you actually believe that?
You have a point, Your Honor.
I have a very good point.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You ever been married?
Yes, Your Honor.
How many times?
Once.
For how long?
For 20 years.
For 20 years?
For 20 years I was
How many good ones?
Okay.
And later today,
Did you tell anybody that this young lady was stupid?
No, ma'am.
Did you tell anybody this young lady was ugly?
No, ma'am.
Oh, she's certainly not ugly. I don't know if she's stupid or not, but she's certainly not ugly.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Colleen Wilkes says ex-boyfriend Fred Johnson owes for money he took from her tax return and for bail money.
Listen to me. He's a deadbeat. Will always be a deadbeat. Married somebody. How long are you married?
7 years
And you have a 14-year-old son?
from a previous marriage.
And that child lives with you?
Yes.
No. He's
when does that
in a
child live
foster
with you?
home.
Shh.
Right now, he doesn't live with me because he chose to have the county take care of him and put him in a foster home because of an altercation that
Listen
happened
to me,
between
Miss
me and
Wilkes.
him.
Are you following me?
I am.
Are you
I
following
am.
me?
I'm sitting here.
Open up
yep.
those eyes.
I hear you.
Smell the roses. If
Yeah.
all it cost you was your tax return.
But
listen
it's,
to me.
it's more than that. It's more than the tax return. There's also bail that I had to put out on him.
Just
he
a
cost
second.
me my job
Just
over
a second.
lies.
Listen to me. Did you have to bail him out?
Yes, I did.
Why?
I bailed him out because his wife had a restraining order against him.
Yeah.
He went into the neighborhood where she lives.
Because he was picking up mail for your sister.
He was picking up mail with me when I
With you.
told him not
for
to.
which, but you took him anyway. Listen to me. You took him anyway. You told him not to come. He said, I want to come, and you took him anyway.
Yep.
And then when he got arrested because he was in the neighborhood of his wife, you bailed him out.
Yeah, and then he put me in jail, and I had to bail myself out, and I lost my job over his lies.
You ever been married?
Yes, Your Honor.
How many times?
Once.
For how long?
For 20 years.
For 20 years?
For 20 years I was
How
married.
many good ones?
Okay.
Why in the world would you want to hang your star on that hook? I have no idea.
I keep asking myself that same question.
And if
how
you
I
got
did that.
out with this abusive deadbeat and all you lost were a couple of bucks, I mean, unless you have a drinking problem or a drug problem and you can't,
No.
you don't. I didn't think you did.
Fortunately, I
You're a
don't have
clear-eyed, nice lady.
Thank you.
Clear-eyed, nice lady.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Too desperate.
Your Honor,
What?
she does have a drinking problem and a drug problem.
Really? She does?
Mhm.
What do you have?
A problem with not holding a job.
You have a problem, sir, with coming to terms with the fact that you're not 12 years old anymore. That when you make a mess, you got to clean it up yourself. What you've done is you've created a life for yourself, sir, of total irresponsibility, of sucking off the people that you're living with, sucking off society, and that's irresponsible. I mean, the truth of the matter is, I would love to be able to say, pay her back all the money she laid out for you. But I don't think she laid out any money for you with an expectation that she was going to get paid back. Put your hand down, Miss Wilkes. Listen, good riddance to him. Use your good judgment. You know, you can usually tell by history when someone is that age what they're going to be like.
They don't tell you, unfortunately, that I'm
Well, they may not tell you. That's why you have to look at their history, Miss Wilkes. Do you
I
understand?
know. Take a job resume, like, yeah.
That's right. Good luck to you. Case is dismissed. That's all.
I just excuse you may step out, sir. Wait there.
I don't feel he was honest with me or Judge Judy or even with himself.
I asked for my phone and she grabbed it and threatened to break it.
He's held me down, put bruises on top of me.
She bit my arm and pulled me down on top of her.
I did bite him because he was holding me down.
I'm just trying, I want her to leave me alone.
I don't think he knows what the word honest means.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Johnson versus Jones. Step forward, please.
24-year-old Nicole Johnson is suing her neighbor, 23-year-old Sally Jones, for the cost to fix her car. Nicole claims Sally's son, 5-year-old Darian, scratched her paint job with rocks.
Miss Johnson, your complaint is that Miss Jones's son, that would be this little tyke over here, vandalized your car with some sort of an implement. You want her to pay for the damage. Miss Jones says, well, she's not sure if her son did it. And if he did it, he had an accomplice of similar age. And why aren't you suing the accomplice too? That's your defense.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Miss Jones, let me ask you this question. If you believe that your son was responsible for part of the damage, you would acknowledge that and would be prepared to pay for part of the damage. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, ma'am.
What proof do you have that Miss Jones's son, because you didn't see it, vandalized your car?
I have a witness who says she saw him do it.
Okay. When did this happen?
July 11th at approximately 7:30, 8 a.m.
And the witness that you had would be this little girl? Mm-hmm. And she's 5?
Yes.
Whose child is she?
One of our other neighbors. Her name's Angela Twyman.
And what's her name?
Michaela.
Michaela, would you like to come up and talk to me?
There you go. Okay. You all right? Okay.
Hi, Michaela. Do you know who I am? You don't know? Do you know why you're here? And you don't know why you're here. Who did you come with today? Oh, I see this is going to be interesting. Do you know this little boy? Is he a friend of yours? Do you know Miss Jones? Is she a neighbor of yours? Can you talk? Can you tell me your full name? Let me hear.
Michaela.
And what's your last name, Michaela?
Michaela and Timon.
Do you want to talk to me about what happened with Miss Johnson's car? You want to tell me what happened? Okay, tell me what happened.
He spit on the car.
He spit on the car? Did you see him do that? Did you see him do anything else to the car, Michaela? What else did you see him do?
He scratched it.
What did he scratch it with?
A rock.
Did you see him with the rock in his hand? Did you have a rock in your hand? Was anybody else with him when he had the rock in his hand?
No.
But you're sure you saw him scratch the car with a rock? After you saw him scratch the car, Michaela, did you go and tell anybody? Who did you tell?
His parents.
His parents? Oh, did you tell them right away? Okay. You can go and sit down now. Thank you. So Michaela came and told you that about that?
No, ma'am.
She never came and told you about it?
No, ma'am.
Did she tell you?
I called. I assume that from the way the marks are, they're huge, just circles, scribbles, they're all at very low positions. I assumed it was a child, and I assumed that if I asked enough children, one of them would tell on the other. So I called her parents and I said, you know, later on today when the kids are home, please ask them if they saw anyone playing around Miss Nikki's car. And in the background, I could hear her say, I did, I saw Darian. And her mom said, well, will you do me a favor? Will you go outside and on Mommy's car, will you touch the spots that you saw him touching on Miss Nikki's car? And she said, okay, she's touching the hood, the driver's side door, and the passenger door on the same side as the driver's side. And she said, is that right? And I said, yeah, that's exactly where the damage is.
Tell me your name.
Darian.
Darian, I want you to come up here and sit up here and talk to me. Trouble. A handful.
Yes, thank you. I do know that.
A handful.
Okay. Tell the judge, okay?
Me and Michaela did it.
You and Michaela both did it? Well, tell me how that happened, Darian.
Me and Michaela had rocks.
Well, how many rocks did you have in your hand?
One.
And where did you get the rock from?
Off the ground.
And what about Michaela? Did she have a rock too?
Yeah.
So why did you decide to scratch Miss Johnson's car?
I don't know.
Well, does your mom have a car?
Yeah, gray.
Gray. She has a gray car. Darian, if you saw children scratching your mother's car, would you be angry with them? Because that's not the right thing to do, right? And your mommy would be very upset that somebody scratched her car, wouldn't she? She would be sad. Are you ever going to do that again? Because you know you can get into trouble for doing that to other people's property, right? How many marks did you make on the car? And how many marks did Michaela make on the car? So you made more marks than Michaela. Did Michaela make bigger marks than you or littler marks than you? She made smaller marks than you. Show me with your hands how big were the marks that you made on the car. Big ones. And she made little ones. Is that right? She made little ones, and show me your size. The ones you made were bigger ones. Now, when your mom asked you about Miss Johnson's car, did you tell her the truth right away?
My dad.
You told your dad the truth right away? And what did you tell him?
I scratched it.
And when did you tell your mom and your dad that Michaela was there too?
I didn't tell him. I only told my dad.
When did you tell your dad that Michaela was there too? Did you tell him right away, or did you tell him later?
Right away.
Okay, go and step down. I have a feeling he did a little more damage than Michaela did, but my sense is that Michaela was there, made a few little marks. And in his own 5-year-old way, he really told me the truth about that, because I don't know how many scratches were on the car, but clearly he said he did more than she did. And when I asked him, you saw, how big were her scratches? He said, well, they were really teeny. Mine were bigger. Well, one gets the sense that at least he's telling the truth, that there was some co-participation.
And she said that she helped him wipe them off with the spit so that he wouldn't get into trouble. That's what she told her mom.
Oh, okay.
She said, I helped, he spit all over the car and I helped him rub them off, but they weren't coming off.
Okay. So you get it. Okay. So I think that Michaela's folks have to be responsible for some of the damage to the car.
I also have rental car receipts because they said it's going to take 4 to 5 days. So I have $182.04 because they won't do it on the weekend, not all of it, and I work about 45 minutes from home.
Okay.
So I have a rental car receipt for $182.04.
$422. That's half. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $422. Thank you.
Parties are
Thank you.
excused.
Smart, but a handful, Miss Jones.
Thank you. Well, I mean, it was 7:30 in the morning, and a 5-year-old child shouldn't be outside by itself.
Kids being kids.
The children being children wouldn't happen if children weren't or were being supervised.
No, I took responsibility for half of the car, which was the fight from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, the version that I got of the story was that only one child was involved.
And that's what I wanted to get across, that it wasn't all my responsibility. It wasn't just my child.
So, yeah, I mean, if her son wasn't the only culprit, then yeah, I imagine that's fair.
I think that everything, this is perfect and over with, and I'm glad.
Jose Torres is suing his ex-girlfriend, 24-year-old Janice Semeno, for throwing away his personal belongings, including his birth certificate.
All rise. Yeah, this is case number 514 on the calendar in the matter of Torres versus Semeno.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Mr. Torres, you moved in with the defendant and her children while you were separated from your wife. I assume this is your wife, sir, is that right?
Yes.
And it is your claim that when you decided to return to your wife and reconcile with your family, the defendant kept and or destroyed some property that belongs to you. The defendant says you had ample opportunity to get what you wanted. Whatever you didn't take with you, she got rid of. She is counterclaiming because she says that because of your broken promises, she lost wages. She's going to explain that to me. When did you and your wife separate, sir?
March of 2006.
And when did you move in with the defendant?
April, can't recall it. June 4th.
And when did you meet her?
I met her through my boss, which is her brother.
When?
In May.
Where had you been living between March and May?
My mother's house.
So you met her in May and you moved in with her in June?
June.
First mistake. Where did you move in with her, sir?
And where she used to live in Falmouth.
Falmouth?
Yes.
In a house or an apartment?
An apartment.
How old are your children?
I have a 5-year-old and an 18-month-old.
Where's their father?
Gone. Yeah, don't know.
Were you working?
Yes.
Who were you working for at the time?
Stop and Shop and Dunkin' Donuts.
Who was taking care of the children when you worked?
They were in daycare, full-time.
Was that subsidized daycare?
Yeah.
Okay. So you move in,
Yes.
and then what happened, Mr. Torres?
Everything was getting fine. I was missing my kids a lot.
You have to speak slowly, Mr. Torres, because I'm going to try to follow you.
Okay.
Everything was going fine. You were missing your kids a lot, is what I got. Now you're going to try to speak a little slower and keep your voice up so I can hear you. See how I'm speaking and projecting? You don't have any trouble hearing me, right?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Good. Go ahead. Everything was going fine. You were missing your children, and
I spoke with her that I would like to get closer to my kids. And she agreed to move closer so I could be near my kids after work.
So you said, I want to be closer to my kids. I miss them. Would you move?
No, I didn't explain just like that. I asked her if we could. I didn't force her to.
Nobody said you forced her, but you said, I want to be closer to my kids. I want to move with you and your kids.
Yes.
So she moved.
We did.
How far away from where she was living did she move?
I don't know the exact mileage.
Time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes,
no.
a half hour?
About an hour.
An hour?
45 to an hour.
So her children also were taken out of daycare?
Yes.
And she didn't have her jobs anymore?
She had transferred.
What do you mean she transferred? What does
She
that
transferred her first job that she first had. Then Dunkin' Donuts, she couldn't get transferred. And then she transferred her kids' daycare vouchers over to a new one in town.
So she relocated her whole family because of you. And when did she do that?
We moved in December 1st.
12/1/06. So between June and December, you and the defendant lived together.
Yes.
And in December, you relocated this family to be closer to your children.
Yes.
And then what happened, Mr. Torres?
I received a Christmas postcard from my wife and kids. She takes my picture with my kids on it and my wife and cuts my wife's face off and posts it on the fridge. And from there, everything went downhill.
So when did you move out?
I moved out before Christmas. It was like December 22nd, 2006.
So she lived in this new location close to your children for 3 weeks with you?
Yes.
So what are you suing for, Mr. Torres?
Just all my personal property.
Like what?
So Nintendo GameCube, stereo equipment, clothing, hats, bed.
And how much is all that stuff worth, sir?
Close to $2,000.
How much was the rent on the apartment?
It's $10.30. I actually had subsidized housing, so it was $170.
So he was getting the advantage of subsidized housing. They didn't know he was living there, right?
No.
Because if they knew he was living there, it would have been $1,000
Yes.
a month, right?
Yes.
Between June and December.
Yes.
Now, what happened with your second job?
They cut my pay and they cut my hours, and I had no idea when I was being transferred, because if I knew that, I wouldn't have transferred my job.
Yes, you would have.
Well.
What, sir?
Excuse me. The reason that she stopped working for Stop and Shop is because of pay related. They did not drop her hours. She had the same hours, but plus a lot of money that she was missing up a week of her check, and that's the reason she quit.
So?
So she did not lose her job because of me.
She did.
Okay.
She did.
Can I call my wife up here?
No, I don't need your wife. You were a big boy enough to leave your wife. You were a big boy enough to have this lady with her 2 children relocate closer to your children so you could be more comfortable, so you didn't have to travel. So she relocated herself. Her 2 children, took them out of daycare where they were comfortable, where she had 2 jobs. Nobody's asking you a question.
Okay.
I mean, you knew that he was living with her, right? You knew he was living with her, right?
Not in the beginning, no, I didn't. But she also knew that we had problems previously, and we've always worked our problems out.
Listen,
she knew she was
Ms.
getting involved with a married man.
Listen to me. Shh. I got what happened.
The story's not straight.
Miss Torres.
I'm sorry.
When you wake up in the morning for 8 months and you don't find your husband sleeping next to you in the bed, that's not a fight. That's not a disagreement. That's a separation. And while I think it's dumb on the part of any woman to get involved with a guy who's just separated from his family, and dumber to relocate and uproot her children and her life, there's no question in my mind that you sent a Christmas card with your picture in it in order to irritate them a little bit. That doesn't say you're not entitled to do it. Don't speak. Don't speak. And I want to tell you something. I wouldn't have put up her picture on my refrigerator either if I were her. Put your hand down, smarty pants.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You know how much sympathy I have for you? That much. 0. Less than 0.
And later today,
What happened was that
I don't care what happened. This is a contract.
Yeah.
Who signed it?
I did.
Period.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jose Torres claims ex-girlfriend Janice Semeno threw away his belongings. Janice is countersuing for lost wages.
So far, you caused a lot of trouble, Mr. Torres. You don't ask somebody to relocate their life and turn their life upside down unless you are 100% sure that you're prepared to make a commitment.
I was committed.
Excuse me?
Everything got a lot stressful when we moved in to Taunton from Falmouth.
You told me things got stressful when your wife sent you a Christmas picture with herself in it. And she cut the picture out, which is exactly what I would have done.
Prior to that.
Exactly what most women would have done. Cut out the picture of your wife.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Put your hand down and don't speak.
Prior to that, Your Honor, we were having the problems with her jobs. She was getting a little bit of stressful.
Was she stressful between June and December with her job?
No, she wasn't.
Because everything was nice. She had 2 jobs, she had daycare, then she relocated, and then she had stress. It was your fault. You get where I'm going, Mr. Torres.
No, I don't.
Well, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for your wife. I'm sorry for your children. You should get where I'm going. Byrd gets where I'm going. The 50 or some odd people out here get where I'm going, sir. And if you don't get where I'm going, there's something missing up here. Now, what happened to his property?
I called him from my sister's December 23rd, and I said, you need to come meet me if you want your belongings. He said, I don't want them. You can throw them away. You can burn them. I don't care what you do with it. So I got rid of all his clothes, his hats, because what do I want with it?
When did you get rid of them?
Most of the stuff was on that day. I got rid of it.
Okay, because you were pretty angry.
Yes.
So whether he told you to get rid of the stuff or he didn't tell you to get rid of the stuff, you would have gotten rid of the stuff anyway.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me about it when he left. Tell me about what happened when he just walked out of the house without his clothes or anything else.
He was a mess. He came back from work and he was drunk, and he'd tell me, going home to my wife and going back to my kids. And I told him continuously, I said, Jose, I'm not going to move unless, you know what I mean, you're going to be with me and stay with me. I'm not going to move to Taunton if you're going to go back with your wife. And that's what happened. He up and left.
It's a very stupid thing to do. And what happened to his entertainment center?
I have his speakers, and I asked him if he wanted them, and he said no.
Put your hand down. You know how much sympathy I have for you? That much. 0. Less than 0, if that's possible. You have his bed?
Yeah, what happened was when we went to Falmouth, I got rid of my bed, and he brought his bed.
So you got rid of your bed
Yes,
and
I
took
did.
his bed. He doesn't get the bed back. What else?
There's the Nintendo GameCube, which my son plays with, but...
What?
I got a list if you want to see it.
I don't care to see your list.
Okay.
She threw away a lot of stuff when you left, which is probably what I would have done if you left. You left, you're not there, you didn't take your stuff, goodbye. Stuff goes in the garbage.
Leave, Your Honor.
But she has your speakers. What else do you have of his?
I have his VCR. if you'd like that.
Okay, good.
And his digital camera.
Okay, I want you to box those things and get them out of your house.
Okay.
Within 5 days. He's going to pay the cost of putting it in UPS or the post office or whatever.
Excuse me. I really need to speak because he did not get the story out the right way. He's very nervous. He doesn't know exactly what to say. He was buying back his own property. She did not offer to give it back to him.
I don't care whether she offered to give it back to him or
He offered
not.
to give her money. She checked off that he could get his own property with police escorts.
And
We
I
went,
went.
and she
Good.
said she threw it away.
Good. You said it now? You happy?
No, there's a lot more to it.
I'm not interested in a lot more. I got the general gist of it. Your husband?
You did it
Your
because
husband,
he didn't explain it right.
Don't speak. Your husband left you, not because of her, because he didn't meet her for a while.
She got separated from her to take apart time from each other.
She kicked him out.
Just a second. Then if you need time, Mr. Torres, to decide what you're going to do, is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me? You needed time to figure out what you were going to do?
No, we just need time away from each other.
Then you don't move in with somebody else and dislocate them from a life. Do you understand that? Do you understand that?
I understand that, but I didn't do that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You moved in with somebody else. If you want to take time away from your wife and see if the relationship can be put back together again, you do not move in with somebody else just because it's comfy. Do you understand? That's
Yes,
what
I
you
do,
did.
but I didn't do that exactly like that.
Get mad. Speak up.
Huh?
Mr. Torres, your wife may not want to acknowledge it, but that is precisely what you did. She did not handcuff you and tie you to her bed. From June of 2006 until December of 2006, you shared the defendant's bed, you shared her life, you convinced her to move and relocate to be closer to your children. That's what you just told me, sir.
No, I
you
did not
told
convince her.
me
We
that you
agree
wanted
on it.
her to move closer.
But I did not force her to do it.
Listen, those are the things that you're getting back. Period. End of discussion. Let me explain something to you. You don't get awarded money for stupidity. You don't pick up your life and relocate for a married guy. And if you do so on a promise and a prayer, courts aren't here to help you. You have to understand that. His wife doesn't get it because she prefers not to get it. He didn't go and move into a room in somebody's house while they were trying to work out their problems. He found it more comfortable to be in your house, living with you. And she thinks that's your fault. That's not your fault. She's angry at the wrong person. She should be angry at him because it was his choice to move in with you, and it was his choice to move into another apartment with you. It was his choice. He was more comfortable living that way while he was figuring out what to do with his marriage. So her anger is misplaced, and I don't want to hear about it. So you get your property back. The stuff that she just mentioned, sir, other than that, you get nothing. I'm dismissing her counterclaim because, unfortunately, the law doesn't permit her to have a counterclaim for her own acts of misguided love and affection and your promises that you were going to be with her. Law doesn't permit
I
that.
made any promises.
Get out of here.
You may step out. Right here, please.
He didn't get the story straight. He's very nervous. He had a hard time talking.
He was already separated and lived in his own place.
She chose to deal with a married man.
I had no idea. He told me after we were together.
13 years we've been together. We've had our separations. You know, he's always come back.
Mary Fabrini is suing her estranged husband, David Fortier, for the cost to change the locks on her home and for breaking her windshield.
All rise. That's case number 118 on the calendar in the matter of Fabrini versus Fortier. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Fabrini, this is your husband. You are currently separated. You have children together, and you have two claims against him.
Yes, Your
First one is that you caught him trespassing in your home, as a result of which you had to change the locks in the house. You want him to pay for the changed locks. And on the same date, he was angry and vandalized your car, and you want him to pay for that. Mr. Fabrini does not deny that he was in the house. He said he was supposed to be babysitting for the children that day, and he does, however, deny that he did anything to your car. So I have some questions. How long have you been separated?
Since 2003, Your Honor. I've changed my...
Just a second.
Sorry.
Are you legally separated?
Yes, we are. I have separation papers here.
Okay, so you have a legal writing, but there's never been a judicial determination of separation. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that right, sir?
Yeah.
How long were you married?
Well, we've been together 16 years.
And how many children do you have, Mr. Fortier?
3.
How old are they?
13, 12, and 7.
Been separated a long time. Is there any reason why you're not divorced?
I don't want a divorce. I mean, we pretty well set our life, and instead of, trying to make it harder, I'm trying to make it, get back together for the sake of the kids, not just for selfish reasons.
Did you stay in the marital home, Ms. Fabrini?
No. I signed over the 2 houses we owned at the time of marriage. I let him have them. I never asked him for child support. I'm the one who ended the marriage. I bought my own house in 2003.
Okay, so the house that you say he was trespassing in
Was my house.
was your house,
Yes,
not the
ma'am.
marital home.
No.
And when was this, Miss Fabrini?
On June 1st,
Okay, tell me what happened.
I came home from work, and Mr. Fortier was sitting at my kitchen table, and I asked him how he got in the house. He obviously stole keys from me. I've never given him a set of keys to my house. Of course, he denies it. I don't know if you're still denying it, but...
Well, just a second. So on June 1st, you found him sitting at the kitchen table.
Yes.
And what did he say to you when you confronted him?
He denied the fact that he had my keys, and I asked him what he was doing in my house, and he was waiting for the children to come home. And I told him, you're not allowed in my house unless I invite you in. So he refused to give. We had an argument. I kicked him out. So he was kind of like angry with me.
And what happened?
He left, and I just forgot about it. I did my own thing with the kids. And that night I went to bed, and the kids told me...
Don't tell me what the kids told you, because that's hearsay.
Well, the next morning when I woke up, the windshield in my car was smashed. So I figured he did it.
You have any proof that he did it?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
I'd like to hear the proof.
I have a witness.
Witness's name?
Sabrina Weeks.
Sabrina Weeks? Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth in these matters?
Yes.
Can't hear you.
Yes.
Sabrina, how old are you?
12.
And how do you know Miss Fabrini?
Her daughter.
My daughter. She's her best friend.
Okay, is that how you know each other?
Yeah.
She sleeps over at my house all the time.
Okay, were you sleeping at Miss Fabrini's home on June the 1st?
Yes.
Did you witness anything with regard to her car?
Yes.
Tell me what you saw.
Okay, I was sleeping over, and we were sleeping, and me and her heard a loud crash, and we went to look at the window, and we saw Dave with a crowbar over by the car.
And you sure it was Mr. Fortier?
Yes.
Mr. Fortier, how did you get into the house on June the 1st?
Well, I had keys.
You had keys. Where did you get the keys from, sir?
Well, I had them from, she gave it to me to come and babysit.
Sorry, Your
No,
Honor.
stop. Miss Fabrini, don't say anything. Now, Mr. Fortier, do you pay child support for your children?
Well, no, but
The answer is no.
no.
Why not?
Well, I still pay for stuff around her house.
What do you pay for regularly?
And the car, her car insurance.
Your Honor, I know.
Do you not pay child support, sir, because your wife never asks you for child support?
No, well, she should have asked. If she wanted so, just ask.
Mr. Fortier, put your hand down, please. Do you have a lawyer in this matrimonial proceeding?
Right now, no.
Mr. Fortier, do you know my background? What kind of work I used to do before I did this work?
No.
I was a judge in the family court, and I was in the family court for 25 years. And you don't have a lawyer, so I feel comfortable about giving you this advice. It's both personal advice and professional advice, sir. And I don't know whether anybody's ever said it to you. You look like a very nice man, but you look like a sad man because you don't have your family with you. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, okay.
My sense from you, sir, is you don't have your family with you, and there is good reason that you and your wife are not together. She wanted out of this marriage so badly that she gave up certain rights that every one of the states of our union mandate, which is that a non-custodial parent pays child support. There isn't a judge in this country that would permit, without serious inspection, an order that said that a non-custodial parent wasn't paying child support. You haven't paid child support for 3 years. So my sense is that your wife wanted out of this marriage that badly that she said, you take the houses, you take the property, you take everything, just give me my freedom.
Yeah, that's her saying. She makes
Okay.
it sound like it's been hell, but
Just a second. I understand what you're saying, but what you're saying is that you don't want a divorce because you want your family back together. Mr. Fortier, you're 40 years old. You're a young man. It's young. Believe me, from where I'm sitting, 40 is young. I would take it tomorrow, Mr. Fortier. I'm giving you advice that some people would pay a lot of money for. You've got to put a period and move on. Not with your children. Your children will always be your children, and they will only have one father. There's no question about that. They're old enough to know that you're their father. Nobody's going to substitute for a father. You're their father. But this lady doesn't want to live with you anymore. So you have to put a period and say, this portion of my life, no matter how painful it is for me, is over. I have to move on. And the first thing you have to do is you have to consent to a divorce, Mr. Fortier.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Next time, don't do it. I mean,
Listen to me. I know that you're angry.
just tell him to leave me alone.
Listen to me.
What's he gonna
That
break?
Stop it.
And later today,
What kind of concert was it?
It was a reggae festival.
Where do you stay?
I ended up having to sleep on the side of a road.
Sounds delicious.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Mary Fabrini claims her estranged husband, David Fortier, stole the keys to her home and smashed the windshield of her car.
Now, put a period and say, it's over. And the longer you prolong that, the more damage you're going to do to your children. You and your wife brought these children into the world because you wanted to create a loving home for them and want to see them grow up to be wonderful people. You didn't bring them into this world to hurt them. But with the kind of stress you're putting on their mother, that's hurting your children. So you have to stop being selfish, Mr. Fortier, because what you're really doing is being selfish. Not to her, forget her, but she's the custodial parent for your children. She takes care of them. And what you're doing is creating a stressful environment for them. And you have to stop. Really, you have to stop. Because not only is it bad for them, it's also not right for you. You're 40 years old. You have to give yourself a chance to go out and have another life. You're young. You're young. You're never going to be without your kids. But you want to give them the best possible shot of growing up stress-free. And right now you're creating stress for your children. Because there isn't a question in my mind. I don't have to ask you. Isn't a question in your mind that you damaged her car. This little girl wouldn't come here and lie. No question. You were so angry that your wife said to you, this is my house. I bought this house. You can't be here. That you didn't have control, that you tried to regain control and you damaged her car. You're hurting yourself, but you're also hurting your children because your 12-year-old daughter, Shauna, saw you do that to her mother's car. She saw you be so angry. That's not healthy, Mr. Fortier. You have to stop. And if you need help stopping, spend some of the money that you're not giving to your wife and child support to go get some help. I gave you my best advice. It's advice that has 40 years backing it up. Put a period. Move on. Let it go. Okay. Change the locks were $124. To fix the windshield was $534.
And 3 days off work.
Why did you take 3 days off from work?
I couldn't drive to work. The windshield was broken. It took me 3 days because I had to pay for it, repair it, and then get to work. It's my work vehicle.
Do you get paid by the week?
Yes, I do.
So you got paid for the week?
Oh, I didn't get paid that week. I have 3 days that weren't missing.
But did you get paid for the week?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
How much do you make a day?
$80 a day. And I have a paycheck stub here, too.
I'd like to see it.
And that's without my bonuses, so I'm letting him off a little easy. Next time, don't do it. I mean,
listen to me. Miss Fabrini. Miss Fabrini.
Yes?
I want you to listen to me. I know that you're angry.
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know whether whatever I said to him had any impact.
I hope so.
Shh. A little bit, maybe?
I hope not.
Shh. I'm asking him.
Yeah, of course.
A little bit?
Just tell him to leave me alone.
Listen to me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You gotta stop it.
Okay.
Let it settle in with him.
What's he gonna break?
Stop it. I get that you're angry. And I get that there was reason why you gave up all those things. I don't want to go into it.
Yes, Your Honor.
You got to move on. Because you're hurting your children and you're hurting yourself. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $898. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
25-year-old Carrie Haugen is suing her ex-boyfriend, 28-year-old Shane Johnson, for money she loaned him while he was in jail. Shane claims the money was a gift.
All rise. Yeah, this is case number 225 on the calendar in the matter of Haugen versus Johnson. Parties have been sworn.
Thank you, Byrd.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Miss Haugen, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Who do you live with?
Right now I live with my children.
How old are they?
4 and 6.
According to your complaint, you met the defendant online.
Yes.
And at the time you met him, he was communicating with you from prison?
No.
He was out of prison?
He never went to prison. It was jail.
Jail. Well,
but he wasn't
in jail.
In jail when I met him.
He was in jail?
Yes.
Do you know what he was in jail for?
Probation violation.
Do you know what he was on probation for?
I think it was a DUI.
Your lawsuit claims that you made 2 loans to him.
3, yes.
And you want your money back?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson acknowledges that you gave him money? He says that that's exactly what it was. Who gave him money? It was a gift. There was never any expectation that he was going to pay you back. That's what the lawsuit is about. When did you first meet him online?
I think it was around November or so of 2004, 2005.
Well, was it 2004 or 2005?
2005.
And at the time that you met him, in which jail was he being housed?
At this point when I met him, he wasn't in jail yet.
Where were you living? Where was he living?
I was living in Prior Lake and he was living in St. Joseph.
Did you meet?
Yes, we did.
When?
February of 2006.
Where did you meet?
He came and got me from my dad's house.
And that was the first time you met?
Yes.
And between November of 2005 and February of 2006, you were not in jail, sir, is that right?
Correct.
When did you go to jail?
March 4th.
Why?
I was on probation for DUI approximately almost 4 years ago. And I was supposed to be on probation until 2009. I came up with a probation violation, and I decided to execute my sentence.
Mr. Johnson, I have to explain something to you. What you just told me was that you had a period of probation that was at least 5 years.
Correct.
That must have been a really serious DUI, Mr. Johnson.
It was my second within a year, so.
Really serious DUI, Mr. Johnson.
Correct.
Was there anyone hurt as a result of your DUI?
No, just myself.
Tell me about it.
Left a party. I thought I was okay to drive. We were in a hot tub pretty much all day, consuming alcohol. I had felt that I was a little too intoxicated to drive once everything had caught up with me, so I was going to pull to the side of the road and call somebody to come pick me up, and that's when I went in the ditch and jumped a road approach and wrecked my car. So I got a DUI and result.
Did you have a driver's license at the time?
Yes, I believe so.
You believe so, or had it been suspended as a result of the first DUI?
No, not at that time, no.
You sure about all the answers you've given me so far, Mr. Johnson?
As far as my knowledge remembers.
That's clever. How many times have you been arrested in total, Mr. Johnson?
Not really sure.
Well, it was certainly more than the twice you were arrested for the DUI.
Correct.
Okay. So as far as you knew, he was on probation for a DUI and he was violated on that probation?
Yes.
Wrong. I just want you to know that. So in case you decide to pen pal at some point with somebody who's in prison, you think twice about it. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. Especially if you have two small children, because that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Couldn't be dumber. Now, when was the first time you gave him money and for what?
The first time I gave him money was April 6th, and that was for his house payment.
Tell me how that came about.
He was in jail, and he had to pay to get out of jail to go to work. So he didn't have enough money to pay his house payment. We were going to live together, so
You were going to live with him?
Yeah. Yeah, we had talked about it. We were going to move in together.
So you met him in November online. He came to see you in February. Then, for whatever reason, he's violated on probation and he goes to jail. And then you think it's wise to move in together when he gets out of jail. So you send him this money.
Yes.
Hello? Are you working?
No.
How do you support yourself?
Right now, just with my child support.
And how much is that?
It was at $723 a month for one child, but I lowered it to $545, and then I get $400 for my other child.
From whom?
My other son's father.
Where did you get this money to send him? You sent him to...
My tax return.
Your tax return, but
Yes.
you don't work.
I was working before.
How much of a tax refund did you get?
$9,000.
$9,000 tax refund?
Yes, Your Honor.
You really overpaid your taxes. How did that come about?
Earned income credit for being a single mom.
How did he know that you got this $9,000?
I told him. I didn't tell him I had that much, but I told him I could help him with the house payment since we were going to be living together anyway. And
so what did he say? He said, I need money for house payment.
No, he told me about how, he was a house payment behind and he didn't want to lose his house because he just built it. So when we had already talked about living together, I told him, well, okay, I can help you out since we're going to be living together. I'll send you the check and you can pay your house payment. So I wrote him a check for $1,377 for the house payment.
Yes.
And I don't know, I borrowed it to him.
No, you didn't. You gave it to him.
No, he told me he would pay it back.
He did? When did he tell you he would pay it back?
After we broke up, we had talked about, since I wasn't going to be living with him, he needed to return that money. I needed it back.
Well, that's what you told him, but not at the time you gave it to him. At the time you gave it to him, there was no loan.
No, when we talked about it on the thing.
No. That's not what you said. What you said was, the time you gave him the money, you were going to be living together, so it was going to be, your house.
Yeah, and I wouldn't pay rent for the first few months that I lived there, so he could pay me back what I had borrowed him.
Whatever.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You may now sit down. I have the last word, not you. Your story is as ridiculous as those shoes you're wearing.
And later today,
you are not a very nice person. You're a hustler. I don't know how many people you've hustled before, but you're not going to hustle me.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Carrie Haugen says she made several loans to ex-boyfriend Shane Johnson while he was in jail.
All right, so you sent him the first amount of money to pay off a month's mortgage. What's next?
Then I sent him $100 because he was complaining about eating the jail food that they gave him for lunch, bologna and cheese sandwiches. So I wrote him a check for $100 and sent him that. And then he got out of jail and he got home and his electric box was gone. and he needed money to get his electric hook backed up, which was $431.
How did you find out about that?
He called me when he got home, and he had no electricity.
What did he say?
Can you help me out?
And you said?
Yeah, I can help you.
And so you paid the electric bill?
Yes.
And when was that?
May 3rd, 2006.
And when did he stop taking your calls?
Shortly after he got out of jail.
Shortly after May 3rd?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll listen to you, Mr. Johnson. Let me hear you, sir.
Basically, as far as I was concerned, from what I understood, is that...
Don't tell me what you understood. I'm not interested in what you understand.
Okay, well...
I want you to tell me what was said and when.
Okay, I was having some money troubles, and I had never once, to my recollection, asked for any money. Made a few complaints about situations I was in, and without even asking, she would offer up, I can give you this money, we're going to live together anyway, and so I accepted the money, and pretty much said, I don't think that I can, pay you back.
I don't want to hear what you pretty much said. I'm not interested.
That's what I was saying.
Who are you?
He did not.
Friend of his, a co-worker.
You're dying to say something.
Yep.
I don't.
Sure
Shh. Stand up. What's your name?
James Cheney.
Go ahead, Mr. Cheney.
He tried to mention that he understood that it was a gift.
I don't care what you're telling me. He understood.
Right. And he was on the phone. He was on the phone with her, and he had it on speakerphone because he was driving and doing whatever.
And you were with him?
Yes, I was with him.
When was that, Mr. Cheney?
I don't even remember for sure, to be honest with you. And the phone conversation went, well, she says, I took care of your house payment, and you won't have to worry about it. And he says, well, I won't be able to pay you back. She says, don't worry about it. And that's exactly how the conversation went.
Mr. Cheney, let me tell you that if you were in the car with them and she said to him, which I probably believe, I took care of your house payment, I believe that. I don't believe the second part of the statement, sir. You want to know why I don't believe the second part of the statement? Because it doesn't make sense. Mr. Cheney, it doesn't make sense, which means, sir, you stood up there for me to call you a liar in front of 10 million people.
That's fine.
Because she may have said, I made the house payment for you, and he would have said to her, gee, thanks, babe, I really don't know how to thank you for it. But he would not have said to her at that time, when, according to her and according to him, they were sort of planning to spend their foreseeable future together, he wouldn't have said to her, but I'm not going to be able to pay you back.
That's exactly how it went.
Listen to me, sir. That's not the way it went, because that doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it's not true. You may now sit down. I have the last word, not you.
Okay.
Your story is as ridiculous as those shoes you're wearing.
I got style, lady.
Listen to me, madam. Listen to me very carefully. Okay? You made a big mistake. The mistake wasn't necessarily, that you got interested in this guy that you met on the internet. Your mistake was once you found out that he had a criminal past, not to know more about it, before you invited him into your life, before you took the little bit of security that you had for you and your children and turned it over to him because you loved him. That was your mistake. But a gift doesn't become a loan when it doesn't work out.
It was a loan.
Well, in your head it was a loan, but it was not a contract. And I'm telling you that now. It was not a contract. I mean, the fact that he is an amoral person, and I know he's an amoral person, even he knows he's an amoral person, doesn't change the fact that when you gave him this money, you were saying to yourself, I believe that we are going to spend our future together, so this is an investment in our future, and I got $9,000, so if I give him $2,000, all told, that's just a small investment in our future, and I'm going to live in his house, a house that he built, with my 2 children. That doesn't create a loan.
But he sent me a text message saying he would pay me back.
Did you send her a text message indicating you were going to pay her back, Mr. Johnson?
I don't recall.
You don't recall a lot of things.
No, I don't.
Let me see the text message. No, it says if you can't understand that I don't have it, then take me to court and they'll pass
There's
judgment
more
on
text
my...
messages, Your Honor.
Okay, I don't know how to do this. Just do me a favor. Get him out of here. I can't stand to look at him or his shoes. Thanks.
Step out.
Bye, Jim.
Yeah. There wasn't a loan, it was love. It wasn't love, it was lust.
This way.
Try the right door, sir. You're walking out the wrong way. First, you got to figure out how to get out of the
It
room.
wasn't love. I have emails saying that he did.
Okay. It says you'll get it when I get it. You wonder why I don't answer with the attitude you have. Is that it?
Yep.
Did you send those to her?
I believe so, yes.
So you did sort of tell her that you were going to give her money when you got it.
Well, when I got it, if I have the extra money, I'll gladly give it to her, but I don't foresee myself having extra money anytime soon.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You wouldn't like it if somebody took the food out of the mouths of your 3 children, would you? Or you don't care? You just care about you and your friends, or sitting in a hot tub.
And later today,
Seems to me if you wanted to stop harassing you, you'd give them the $500. Instead of giving them the $500, you called the corporate office and had them fired. You're outrageous.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Carrie Haugen says she made several loans to ex-boyfriend Shane Johnson while he was in jail.
You know, Mr. Johnson, the problem is that, unfortunately, she's got 2 little children, and the fact that she got herself hooked up with a bum is not something that a court can do anything about, sir. You have children of your own?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
3.
Okay. She's a single mother. She has 2 children. And there is no question in my mind that she struggles, just as you do. But what you did was you took money that she sort of needs for her children because she's not too smart and she lost her heart, and you took advantage of that, and then you said, well, listen, she gave it to me, she gave it to me. Now, I don't feel any sympathy for you for my making you look bad in front of 10 million people, sir. You should feel badly. You should have accepted responsibility even though she gave you the money, just because it's the moral thing to do. And I'm still telling you, sir, it's the moral thing to do. Because you wouldn't like it if somebody took the food out of the mouths of your 3 children, would you? Or you don't care? You just care about you and your friends, or sitting in a hot tub. I want to tell you something, Mr. Johnson. What goes around comes around, sir. You know, life has a strange way of afflicting those who afflict other people with bad stuff. And when it does, I want you to think about what I just said to you. Bad things happen to bad people. So while she has no legal claim to this money, I believe she has a moral claim to this money. And I would see to it that she gets paid. Otherwise, something very bad might happen to one of you or yours, Mr. Johnson. You get me? Case is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I don't feel I took advantage of her.
He told me he would pay me back.
Also, no, I gave you all this stuff and now I want it back? What's that?
Don't borrow money to a loser.
Stay away from women.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Benedict versus Campbell Peterson. Step forward, please.
22-year-old former nanny, Carrie Benedict, is suing former employers, 20-year-old Allie Campbell and her husband David Peterson for unpaid wages.
Ms. Benedict, your claim is that the defendants owe you money for work that you did for them in the capacity of a nanny for their 1-year-old child.
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendants say that while you did, in fact, work for them for a very short period of time, your agreement was that the first week that you worked there would be a free week, which means you would not get paid for it. That's your defense. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you answer an ad that they put in the paper, or did they answer an ad that you put in the paper?
I had found them on GoNannies.com on the internet and responded and sent them an email regarding.
So you posted your ad on GoNannies.com? Is that a website?
We had 2 ads posted, one on GoNannies and one on eNannies.com.
Okay, when did you post the ad?
Back in March.
Do you have a copy of it?
No, I don't.
Do you?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall what it said?
It said that we were looking for a nanny for...
Because that's a whole long thing. Do you remember what the ad said?
Yes, Your Honor.
What did it say?
It had regarding their occupation and that she was a model and he was a business entrepreneur. They were an active family. They needed somebody that could be flexible in their hours and be active with their child. That it was $500 a week and that any hours worked more than 40 would be compensated.
So you answered the ad?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have a face-to-face meeting prior to starting work?
Yes, we did have a formal interview.
When was that?
It was about a week before I started.
Give me the date, please.
I don't have the...
Do you have the date?
We met with her on March 22nd.
Where?
At our home.
Okay. What are your work hours?
I am a wedding consultant. I work from, depending on when the weddings are, I work for...
Weddings are usually in the evening?
Yes, it is. I work till about 2 a.m.
And what kind of work do you do?
I'm a marketing director for K Designers, so I'm a salesman basically.
And you work during the day?
During the day and some evenings because I'm on appointments, so.
Fine. Who were taking care of the baby before?
We had a nanny before, and she moved out of state, and so I was looking for a new one. My mom did help when she could.
What was the name of the previous nanny?
Carolee.
How long did she work for you?
She worked for us for about a month.
Prior to that, who took care of the baby?
My mom.
So it's a fair statement that you've only had one nanny, according to you, for a month?
Yes.
So Carolee came to work for you and then moved?
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Right. You know anything about that, Miss Benedict?
Yes, Your Honor, I actually do. During that interview, they had said that young girl named Carolee, she was flying from Oregon, that she had found her on GoNannies.com as well, and they wanted to have the opportunity to interview her too, and initially they weren't going to hire me. They hired her. She was there over the weekend, and they fired her, and that's why I was called, because Allie told me that the nanny that they had from Oregon had boy issues that they were not aware of, and she went back to Oregon.
So when you went for the interview on March 26th, take your hands out of your pockets. When you went for the interview on March 22nd, you were told that they were going to interview this other girl from Oregon as well?
Yes, ma'am.
That's when you were told about it?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the other girl got the job?
Yes, Your Honor.
On March 22nd or March 23rd?
Yes, Your Honor.
When were you called to say that you got the job?
I was called at 10:30 a.m. Tuesday, March 28th, and I started at 11:30 a.m.
You're Miss Campbell?
Yes.
I want to tell you something. I don't want you to play with me. See, I can tell the difference between a made-up story and a story that has the ring of truth to it. What she just told me has the ring of truth to it. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I hardly believe a word that comes out of your mouth, Miss Campbell. I don't think you'd know the truth if you came up and slapped you in the face.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Nanny Carrie Benedict claims former employers Allie Campbell and David Peterson owe for unpaid wages. The couple says Carrie was an irresponsible caretaker.
Now, who worked for you between the 22nd of March and the 27th of March?
We didn't have a nanny between then. I interviewed this girl from Oregon who I did not like, and she did not get the job.
Well, you just told me that Carolee worked for you. I'm
speaking.
You just told me that she worked for you for a month.
Yes, she did, Your Honor.
Which month?
She worked for me between February and March.
February what?
She worked for me between February 6th, and she left March 10th.
And are you telling me that nobody watched your child between the 22nd of March and the 28th of March?
My mom did.
All right, Miss Benedict. You worked from 3/28 until what date?
Your Honor, I quit April 5th.
Why?
Because I was disrespected and yelled at for an absolutely ridiculous reason that was not my responsibility. And
when?
It was that Wednesday, just that same day. Miss Campbell had called me, yelling at me, that the child had stayed the night at my home, and she was yelling at me because I didn't have the baby at her home and demanded that I bring her home in a half an hour because David had a court case and that she wanted to go with him. And I said, well, there was no communication.
What kind of court case did you have, David?
My little girl was beat up by her, and I was going to court. It was basically protective order case, my little girl.
So you had a court case?
Yes.
And Miss Campbell was accompanying you to the court case?
Yes.
Why did the baby have to be home if Miss Campbell was going with you to court? David?
Well, we wouldn't bring the baby to a court case.
Well, then why did she have to come home?
Why did who have to come home?
The baby.
I think we're talking about different dates here.
I'm talking about April 5th, when, according to Miss Benedict, Miss Campbell called her and said, bring the baby home because David has a court case. We have to leave. Is that the conversation?
Yes,
so my question is, why would Miss Campbell need the baby to go to your court case?
Well, because if we're going to be gone for the afternoon, someone needs to be watching her, and she was supposed to have her back at 10, so we'd already arranged with her mother to take over at that point. So she needed to be with another sitter.
All right, fine. So let me just understand this, so I get it straight. You're saying, see, I'm not asking her any questions.
Right.
I'm asking you the questions.
Okay.
Miss Campbell told Miss Benedict to bring the child home because you had a court case and her mother was going to come to take care of the baby so that the two of you could go to the court case. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you're sure about that?
Well, it wasn't that she was coming to take care of her. We're going to take her to her mother's.
Okay, so the two of you were going to drive her to her mother's house
Before I went to court.
before you went to court.
Correct.
That's the reason why, is that right?
That's the reason why.
I want you to read what I have underlined here, sir. That's the response to this lawsuit. What does it say there?
This caused Kinsey to miss a doctor's appointment?
Yes. Give it back to me.
Okay.
That's not true, is it? It wasn't a doctor's appointment that was at issue here. It was you're going to court, according to you, and taking the baby over to her mother's house so that her mother could watch the baby.
These are two separate instances, though.
Really?
There was an instance where she needed her shots and was unable to get them and did miss a doctor's appointment. And then the last one where she got fired was when, we missed a court case because she didn't bring the child back when she said she would, and we were unable to reach her for 2 hours.
It became clear to me that Carrie was too responsible to be our nanny. Therefore, I fired her that day, April 3rd.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Listen, I don't know why I'm torturing these people anymore. When somebody works for you, they get paid. You work, you do weddings, you get paid. You work, you do whatever you do, you get paid. Somebody doesn't work for you for a week for nothing. And if you have your mother as a free babysitter, that's just great. But when you hire somebody, there's no slavery in this country anymore. Ridiculous. Your defense is stupid. And I don't believe you about this other nanny that you had allegedly for a month, allegedly who went back to someplace else. I hardly believe a word that comes out of your mouth, Miss Campbell. I don't think you'd know the truth if you came up and slapped you in the face. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
They lied about their careers and they just lied to Judge Judy.
Oh, I just think she was jealous.
Initially, she said that she was a model.
Mad because she wasn't getting what she thought she deserved.
I found out she's an escort.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
And that he's basically her pimp.
Ridiculous. That's all I can say.
I'm just glad it's over.
21-year-old Wanda Camp is suing her former roommate, Brenda David, for rent and damages to their apartment.
That's case number 135 on the calendar in the matter of Camp versus David.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Miss Camp, who is this person?
He is my witness, my coworker, also her coworker.
According to what I read in your complaint, you had an apartment that
Yes,
you
ma'am.
shared with your boyfriend. Your boyfriend went to jail.
Yes.
And you couldn't take care of the rent yourself. You had a conversation with Miss David and asked her if she would like to take over your lease.
Yes.
She said, for whatever reason, okay, she was looking for a place. She moved into your apartment.
Yes, ma'am.
And according to your complaint, she moved out, not giving you any notice, and you believe she should pay for that month's rent because
Yes,
you couldn't
ma'am.
sublet the apartment. And in addition, that she caused some damage to the apartment so that you lost your security deposit.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. David says that she paid you rent each and every month that she was there, and that it was not she who caused the damage to the apartment, but it was probably your boyfriend when he had a temper tantrum. Okay. You know each other from work.
Yes, ma'am.
When was your boyfriend incarcerated?
End of February.
When did you and Miss David have this conversation about subletting your apartment?
On March 1st, I called her because I knew that she was looking for an apartment. And on March 2nd, her and her boyfriend came over, looked at the apartment, and moved in that same day. And she paid the rent for March.
So far, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a written agreement with her?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it, please. Okay, so it's a pretty straightforward agreement. Agreement says that she pays rent for the months that she's there, $700 a month, and that she agrees to pay the utilities from that time forward, and there's no issue of utilities because that's not part of your complaint. So you paid March.
In April.
Just you paid March,
Yes, ma'am.
$700. Did you
course.
pay April?
Yes, ma'am, of course.
Did she pay April?
Yes.
$700 in April. And when did you move out?
I moved out May the 2nd.
Is that correct?
She's lying.
When did she move out?
She moved out June 1st.
She says she moved out May 2nd. What proof do you have that you moved out May 2nd?
I wasn't there. And I have also this from the apartment people. My rent was, I paid in April, ma'am.
Just a second.
Yeah.
The month that we're questioning is May.
Yes.
Tell me your name.
Brian Murphy.
Mr. Murphy, you seem hell-bent on telling me your story, sir. You work with these two ladies?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you know about when Miss David vacated the apartment?
Well, Your Honor, I know that on May the 28th, around the end of the month of May, that me and Wanda went to the apartment to retrieve her things.
Wanda is
me.
you.
Miss Camp.
Because I knew that we were getting evicted because she didn't pay for May.
Just a second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And it was apparent that Miss David, her belongings and everything was still at the apartment.
On May 28th?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of belongings were still in the apartment on May 28th?
There was a rundown couch. There was food still in the refrigerator. There were her clothes. I mean, it wasn't like, there was nobody living there. Somebody was living there.
She gave me the couch, her rundown couch.
Just a second, just 1 second.
Girl.
Listen to me.
I don't even start down.
Listen to me, Mr.
I'm
B.
sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. They
You're
are
not-
harassing me.
Shh, just a second.
I think something's wrong with her.
Just a second.
That's crazy.
I'm the one with the eyebrows.
1, 2, 3, and you're out of here. Do you understand? I'm asking you questions,
Sorry.
madam.
Sorry.
Did you have clothes in the apartment on May 28th?
No, ma'am.
Fine. Where did you move on May 2nd?
To an undisclosed area because you're harassing and stalking me.
We're going to do 1, 2, 3,
I'm sorry.
and then you're out of
You
here.
don't have to do it no more. You don't have to do it anymore, ma'am.
I want to see a lease on an apartment that starts May 2nd.
I live with my mother. I can't, but my mother doesn't give me a lease.
The reason why she moved in
I
with
know.
me, I'm sorry.
Just a second. Just a second. When did you move in with your mother?
I moved in after I moved. Look, I moved in May the 2nd, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Fine. Your mother's name?
Come on now.
You don't need to. I live with Brenda David. I don't need to know. I'm not going to talk about my mother on TV. I don't even like her.
I don't believe you.
Oh, well.
I don't believe you.
That's fine, ma'am.
Good. Okay. Now, let's talk about the damage to the apartment.
Okay. Me and him went to the apartment May 28th. Her stuff was still there. The door frames for the front door was broken, like somebody just kicked it in. And when I called her when I was in the apartment, I said, Brenda, I'm coming here to get my stuff because we're getting evicted. She said, don't do anything with my stuff. I'm going to have my stuff out by June 1st. And I said, I'm not doing anything with your stuff. I'm just taking my stuff out of here before it's on the streets. So the door in the front door was broken. The blinds were broken, stains in the carpet. The master bedroom door was also broken, like she locked herself out.
Do you have photographs of the apartment?
No, I don't have photographs, but I have a list of the damages that the apartment...
Do you have a letter from the landlord?
Yes,
I'd
that
like to see
they
it,
sent me
please.
what I owe them for the damages.
Miss Judge Judy?
I'll be with you in a minute.
All right, good.
What furniture, Miss David, did you leave in the apartment when you moved out?
Her furniture that she gave me.
Okay, so she gave you furniture.
She let me use
just
furniture.
No, just a second. Well, first you say she gave you furniture.
Gave me, loaned me, whatever. I wouldn't take her furniture.
Okay, just a second. Did she give you the furniture or did she loan you the furniture?
She loaned me the furniture.
What efforts did you make to get the furniture back to her?
I left it in the apartment. It's her apartment. Note, Miss Judy, when the lease agreement began, it was not just I moved in and the apartment was brand new. I moved in later in the lease. Look at, yes, please, put your glasses on, look at the dates. This young woman, I moved into the apartment months after her drug dealing boyfriend.
Her abusive, black-eye-given boyfriend.
So listen to me. This
Okay.
is not
my turn.
This is
All right.
not a discussion between
Okay,
the two of you.
I apologize.
This
Yeah,
is
I'm
not
real
a
sorry.
discussion between the
I'm
two of
sorry.
you. Miss,
But no.
Miss David, listen to me.
Yes,
I'm a
ma'am.
very good judge of.
Okay, I know I've heard you 1,000 times.
You're
I
not.
understand
You're
that.
not showing off your best side, madam.
Ma'am, I'm
do you
gonna tell
understand?
this is not the best time
Do
on
you?
my side.
Do
Look
you
what's beside me.
understand? Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Oh,
You're
I'm
not
sorry.
showing off your best side. Now I don't know if you have a good side, but certainly you're not showing
I'm
it
so
off
sorry,
here.
but look what's on my side right now.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you don't believe me, then so be it. The fact is this young woman is harassing me. She came to my job. He was there. They called the cops. She had two women. They sat in my car. I'm telling you what, do it again.
And later today,
We ran into financial difficulty, then we ran into more financial difficulty, and we lived with them 19 days, and they had booted us out.
You wouldn't have lived with me 19 minutes.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Wanda Camp says former roommate Brenda David owes for rent and damages to the apartment. Brenda is countersuing, claiming Wanda is stalking her.
Listen to me. I don't believe that you moved out of the apartment and moved your... I'm speaking! I don't believe that you moved out of the apartment on May 2nd.
Okay,
I don't
give it
believe
another
that you
date
moved...
and then
I'm
tell her to leave me
speaking.
alone.
I'm speaking. And I don't believe that even if you left in May, your clothes and other things were gone in May. As long as there's stuff of yours that's in the apartment, you haven't vacated the apartment.
Ma'am, the thing I left with her things. And if you don't believe me, then so be it. The fact is this young woman is harassing me. She came to my job. He was there. They called the cops. She had two women. They sat in a car. I'm telling you what, do it again.
Oh, excuse
Judgment
me.
for the
Can I tell
plaintiff
you?
in the amount of $1,630 and your counterclaim
Thank you.
for
And
harassment is
please,
dismissed.
something's
If
wrong
you, I'm
with her.
speaking!
Okay, I'm sorry.
If you pay the money, she will leave you alone. She doesn't want to get stuck with your bills for what you did to the apartment and rent. That's all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused, ma'am. Ma'am. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you
Stay
bet.
right there. Yeah.
I'm just playing. I don't do that
understand.
for real. Come on now, look
Yeah,
at
do I look threatened? She's
It was nice meeting you, Miss Sheindlin. We were lovers. But she needed to get over it. And, now we're doing all of this, and it's just terrible, and I feel really bad about it.
I was living there with me and my baby and my boyfriend.
She knows she still loves me. She just needs to stop. She still loves me. Look at her best. Look at her. They love me.
I think you have the wrong girl.
She knows what's going on. That's all that matters.
Oh, no. Something's seriously wrong with her. She needs help.
She caught me with another woman, and she knows it. And it's a total love triangle.
Oh, my God. Crazy. With the capital C.
I still love you, Wanda.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Schumacher versus Graham. Step forward, please.
Kristen Schumacher is suing family friend, 25-year-old Evan Graham, for the balance on a boat. Evan says Karen sold him a piece of junk.
Ms. Schumacher, you sold the defendant a boat.
I did.
Defendant was somebody that you knew?
Yes.
And you had an arrangement. He gave you a deposit, and he took possession of the boat. He was supposed to pay you the balance in a week or so. He never paid you the balance. You want the balance on the boat.
Correct.
And Mr. Graham says that he relied on your friendship, that this was a good boat. It ended up being a lemon, and you ripped him off, and he's not paying anymore.
Yes.
How old are you, sir?
23.
You work?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a plumbing company.
Very good. So you're in business?
Yes.
You deal with contracts, is that right?
Yes.
When did you buy the boat, sir?
It would have been the end of August.
Give me the date.
August 18th.
And that's when you agreed on a price. Is that right?
Correct.
Yes.
What was the price you agreed on, Mr. Graham?
$3,500.
So there was an offer to sell the boat and an acceptance of the price, correct?
Correct.
Was this a verbal contract?
Yes.
And you gave her a deposit?
Of $800.
And you took possession of the boat?
Correct.
And then what happened, Mr. Graham?
I bring it out to the lake to test drive it, and I want to run.
Why didn't you make an arrangement with Miss Schumacher for a test drive of the boat before you bought it?
Because she was a family friend, so if there was any problems, we could work it out.
Who said that?
It's an assumption.
What did you do with the boat?
I bring it to a mechanic, spent $1,200.
Just a second. Did you take it out on the 18th? Or did you take it out later?
It might have been the 19th, I don't remember.
Was it the 18th or the 19th?
He purchased it on the 18th. I tabbed and licensed it for him the morning of the 19th. Then he took it from the property about 10 a.m. in the morning, I believe.
On the 19th?
On the 19th.
When did he call and tell you he was having trouble with the boat?
On the 20th.
Okay. And you took it to your mechanic, you put in $1,200.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And you were satisfied that it was done?
Yes.
So you took it back to the water. When?
It would have been roughly about a week after I purchased it by the time he was done the work.
So the 27th?
Yeah, roughly. So I bring it back out, and now with it running correctly, I hit the throttle, and the whole transom with the motors mounted to almost broke right off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And the gas tank came completely disconnected and spilled gas all over the floor of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the middle of the lake with a boat full of gas, and the transom's completely cracked.
When was the last time, Mr. Graham, that you drove this boat?
Early September.
No, I'm talking about before you purchased it.
I've never drove the boat in my life before I purchased it.
You purchased the boat. You waited until the boat was titled in your name till the next day. Then you came and got it. You had trouble with it. You buy a used boat. That sometimes happens. You took it to your mechanic. Your mechanic had the boat for an entire week. And I'm not prepared to say that whatever he did to the boat had no causal connection to what the trouble was that you ultimately had with the boat. I don't know, quite frankly. All I know is that you and Ms. Schumacher had a contract, and you have to abide by the terms of that contract. Do you understand?
Not completely, no.
Well, I tried to explain it to you in the most simplistic terms I can. Would you like me to use monosyllables?
No, maybe you could explain the part about if you have a contract and she says it runs good and it's structurally sound and it's not. Doesn't that void a contract?
You have a writing that says that she is selling this boat in good running order, no mechanical problems, and you're buying the boat contingent upon that? Do you have that?
No, it was a verbal contract.
Your verbal contract is the simplistic one, Mr. Graham, because if I were to ask her whether she tells me that she guaranteed to you when you purchased that boat that she said it was structurally sound and mechanically sound, what do you think she's going to tell me?
Your Honor, I did tell him the boat was running well.
You told him it was running well. The last time you rode the boat was when?
The summer before, which would have been the end of August, last week in August.
So you hadn't driven in it?
That's right.
For 1 year?
Right. It was parked for the winter because it's a small ski boat and you don't take it out in winter.
The last time you rode the boat, was it running well?
Ran fine.
Did you know the boat had been sitting there for a year?
Yes.
Out of the water?
Yes.
Mr. Graham, you owe her the money. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,200. That's all.
Party got excused. You may step out.
Thank you. I feel Mr. Graham has been dishonest.
It doesn't run?
From the beginning.
Can it sink on me?
I believe they didn't have the bleed valve closed.
Gas tank's not hooked up?
And the gasoline filled in the boat.
Got towed by a sheriff?
I think it's unfair that Mr. Graham couldn't be responsible.
It's sitting parked with no title for it.
For what he caused, and I had to wait so long to get paid.
What can you say?
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Pritzkow versus Chamberlain. Step forward, please.
19-year-old Sarah Pritzkow is suing her ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Bradley Chamberlain, for bail money and the return of her class ring.
Mr. Chamberlain, how old are you, sir?
23.
How tall are you?
6'2".
How much do you weigh?
220.
Do you work, go to school? What do you do?
Work.
What do you do?
I sell cinder block.
Hmm?
Sell cinder block.
Good salesman?
Try to be.
Who's this lady?
It's my mother.
Do you live at home or you live outside the home?
I rent the downstairs from her.
Pays you rent?
He does.
Pretty responsible?
Yes.
Trust his judgment?
Absolutely.
Miss Pritzkow, this is what this case is about. You needed a ride to school, and you and Mr. Chamberlain, who were friends?
We were boyfriend, girlfriend.
At that time?
Yes.
He was going to give you a ride to school, and on the way to school, he was driving much too fast.
Yes, sir.
How fast were you driving, Mr. Chamberlain?
When the police officer pulled me over, I was doing 109.
And you were taken into custody?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you were going really fast.
Yes.
And she bailed you out?
Correct.
She wants her money?
Yes, ma'am.
And she says that you also have some class key or something that belongs to her.
A class key and a class ring.
And you said you gave her half the bail, and the other half should be her responsibility.
That's what she agreed to pay with my mother.
Why would she pay any part of your bail?
Because I was doing her a favor in driving her down to school.
You see where we were going, Mr. Chamberlain, with those preliminary questions, sir? 6'2", 220 pounds, a responsible salesman. Nobody put your pedal to the metal, sir, except you. 109? That was your business.
Well, she was wanting me to rush down there so she would be on time to school.
If she said to you, look, this is what I want you to do. I'm sort of short on cash. So I want you to pull into that convenience store and pull the hoodie over your head, put a bandana over here, and I want you to go in, hold up the store because I need some money. Would you do that?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
It's against the law.
There you go. You got my drift, sir.
Yeah, I understand.
So if you got stopped for a crime and were arrested for a crime and were guilty of a crime, it's not because she importuned you to get her to school faster.
Correct.
Good. Now, Mr. Chamberlain says he gave you back some money. Did he?
No, I haven't seen a penny.
You say that you actually took money and put it in Miss Pritzkow's hand. Is that right?
Yes, on about
When?
October 8th, she came up for the weekend, calling, asking if she could have her money as well as the stuff back. So we agreed to meet her at a dealership, which is where I had worked at the time, and me and my brother went over there. I called my mom, asked her if she could loan me the half the money to give to her. My mom brought $250 as well as all the items which I had in a bag down in my bedroom. She had brought those as well as $250 to the dealership where we gave it to her.
Who actually put
I handed it to her.
$250 in her hand?
I handed it to her.
Okay. And you say that didn't happen?
No, I wasn't even up on October 8th.
Were you there at any part of the month of October?
Twice. Once.
Okay, so who cares what date it is? He says he gave you $250 plus some things that belonged to you. What things did you have in the bag?
I actually gave her $250 for my mom and $50 from my own pocket.
What things did you have in a bag that you gave her?
I believe it was a teddy bear, a blanket, and her jewelry, which was the class ring.
The jewelry was just the class ring?
There was a couple things in it. I think the key was in there as well.
And you returned it to her?
Yes.
In the parking lot?
No, it was on the front steps of the dealership.
And your brother was with you?
Yes, my brother and my mother were both there.
Is that right? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Step up. What time of the day was this?
It was about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, just before the dealership closed.
Where did you get the jewelry from?
It was in a bag in his bedroom downstairs. And he called, asked if I'd go downstairs and get it, and bring that, and bring $250 out of the safe.
Not happening. If I had my class ring, I'd be wearing it right now.
When did you break up?
In the early beginnings of October.
Early in October. So if he was going to give you this money and return your property, October 8th or thereabouts would have been just about the right time. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else you want to tell me, Ms. Pritzkow?
Yeah, I have documentations of the bail I paid, written amount for everything.
Let's say the bail is $600. I believe that he paid you $300, and I believe that he returned any jewelry.
I
believe him. That's my job.
But I wasn't even there, Your Honor.
Well, you can establish to me that you weren't there at any time at the beginning of October.
I wasn't. I was there after the 17th for my birthday and to get my car.
So maybe it was the 17th. Listen, Ms. Pritzkow, that's my job. My job is to make a judgment as to who's telling the truth and who's lying. And I believe that he returned the jewelry to you in a bag along with a bear and a blanket, and that he paid you $300 of the bail. But he's going to pay you the other $300 because it's not your fault that he was stopped for speeding. Judge for the plaintiff in the amount of $300. That's all. Step out.
Why does you may step out?
He's lying. He didn't pay me anything.
She received her items back.
Because I could trust him. I loved him.
And when she came calling for her money...
Deborah Skalkos is suing 9-year-old Russell Bauscher Jr. and his mother, Christy, for damage to her car. Deborah says Russell dinged it with a shopping cart.
Miss Skalkos, is that right? Yes. According to your complaint, this young man right here accidentally dented your car with a shopping cart.
Correct.
You believed he and his mother are responsible
Correct.
for the dent. Miss Boucher says neither she nor her son are responsible for the dent on your car. So tell me where you were when this happened and when.
Okay. On the evening of April 20th, I was driving my car in a shopping area, and as I was getting ready to cross a speed bump, this little boy here, he yells, "Watch out," and a shopping cart came crashing into my car. And he says, "I'm sorry, ma'am, it slipped out of my hand." And there were cars behind me, and I wanted to pull into a parking stall to get out and look at my car. And I did, and there was a small dent in my car, and then I tried to find the little boy, and he was gone, and I didn't know what store he went into.
Okay, so you did not see him with the shopping cart in his hand?
I saw him pulling out the shopping carts, and it came crashing into my car.
Madam, I want to know exactly what it is that you saw. Don't make anything up.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
I read your complaint, and what you just testified to is different from your complaint. What you just testified to was you saw the little boy.
Yes, I did.
And you saw the cart hit your car.
Correct.
But you never saw his hand on the cart.
Correct.
And he said to you, I'm sorry, it slipped out of my hand.
Correct.
Is that what you saw?
That's what happened, yes.
Is that what you saw, is my
Yes.
question. So you didn't see him trying to pull the cart out of the long row of carts, and it
Correct.
slipped out of his hand, right?
Right.
All right, because that's what you wrote in your complaint. So that was a mistake. You were mistaken about that.
Yes.
Should not be mistaken about that, because you signed it and you read it. You say, I noticed a young boy standing on the sidewalk and pulling a shopping cart out of the cart holder. And my question to you is, you didn't see that.
I didn't see him pull the cart out.
All you saw was him standing there,
Yes.
the cart coming towards you,
Correct.
and the cart hitting your car.
Correct.
And then he yelled, watch out.
Yes, he did.
And then, according to you, he said, I'm so sorry, ma'am.
Yes, he did.
He didn't say, I'm sorry it slipped out of my hand. That's not what you said in your complaint.
But that is what he said. He said it slipped out of my hand.
Okay. Tell me your name.
Russell Voucher,
Russell. How old are you?
9.
Have you ever watched this program?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
How many times have you watched it?
a couple of times.
And I think that your mom is very proud and very supportive of you, right?
Yes.
And I think you're a nice boy.
Thank
So you're going to tell me the truth today about what happened that day, even if it was a little different from what you told your mother. Got it?
Yes.
Because otherwise, bad things are going to happen here.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. Now, your mom went in shopping,
Yes.
and at some point she told you that she needed another cart.
Yes.
So what did you do?
I went out to get another cart, and when I went out the exit, there was one right next to the exit on the left-hand side. So then I was grabbing the cart, and I saw it going. I ran after it, and I yelled,
Now you
"Watch
grabbed
out."
the cart. Stop right there.
Okay.
You grabbed the cart.
Mm-hmm.
How did you grab it? Show me with
this.
So you grabbed it and you touched the handlebars?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then you tried to wheel it around?
Yes.
And then what happened?
And then when I saw that shopping cart going,
So it slipped out of your hand?
because like there was two carts. I was grabbing one out of the cart stack, and then there was one on the side of the exit. I was grabbing the one out of the cart stack. I didn't grab it completely. It was halfway out, but it wasn't that one that went. It was the one next to the exit that went.
Okay,
And I
but you
ran
touched
after
it. Your cart touched it. The one that you were pulling touched it.
Yes.
And then you went inside. When you went inside, did you tell your mother?
Yes.
What did you tell your mother?
That I saw a cart that was rolling down. I started running after it, and I couldn't catch it. I said, "Watch out!" And then that's all I told her.
But you didn't tell her about the fact that you were touching the cart with the other cart, and that's when it started to roll down.
No.
All right, she's going to love you anyway. Right, Mrs. Boucher? Yes. Not hard. You sent him outside to do a job that perhaps he wasn't equipped to do. I certainly have some trouble trying to get those carts out of those cart holders, too, when we go shopping. You pull one, and all of a sudden you get 30. You don't want 30, all you want is one. But I'm very glad you told the truth today. Okay?
Yes.
Good. Got it, Mrs. Boucher? It's a little different. Right. Not a major deal. Good for you.
Thank you.
Told the truth today? If you had told your mother the truth right then and there, we might have avoided this whole problem. So you have to remember that for the future, okay?
Yes.
How much is the cost to fix your car?
$601.
Wow, let me see. What kind of a car do you have?
I have a 2004 Toyota Highlander.
Let me see. You have pictures of the car?
Yes.
There's a ding in it.
Yes. That's it.
There are two dings.
Mm-hmm. The shopping cart, it dinged it.
Well, I'm going to give you some advice, okay? I also have a very nice car. And somebody last week dinged my brand new car. And we called the ding doctor. And for $150, the ding doctor comes to your house and pulls out the ding. Not $600, $150. And I am sure, where do you live?
In Rancho Cucamonga.
Oh, that's in California.
Yes.
Where every person has 9 cars. I guarantee you, you will find a ding doctor for $300 that will come and pull out these 2 dings in your car. Okay? Not $600. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $300. That's all. Thank you.
Allison Gardner claims former friend Andrew Beard repossessed a truck he sold her. She is suing for the return of payments made and for the cost of a dirt bike he sold without her permission.
Miss Gardner, it is my understanding, and this is some sort of convoluted arrangement for the purchase of a truck, You purchased a truck from Mr. Beard. You claim that he took the truck back. You want all the payments that you made to him on the truck. You say he took a dirt bike that belonged to, I think, your son.
Correct.
And he sold it. You want the money for the dirt bike. Mr. Beard has a whole different scenario about what happened with this truck and dirt bike. So let me make it simple for myself. You knew each other. You were friends?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's all I have to know. I don't need to go into the social history. I'm really not interested. You had a truck.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the year and make of the truck?
It was a 1992 Ford F-150 stick shift single cab pickup truck.
Okay. And you were in need of a vehicle. So you agreed to purchase the truck from Mr. Beard. When?
We made an agreement, I think it was around September or August.
What was the date?
It was August 12th. It was the same day I bought my new green truck.
Does that sound right?
That's not correct. It was before he bought his truck.
It was before you bought his truck?
Yeah, we were actually at
Just a
his
second.
gathering.
How much before he bought the truck?
I think it's about a week or two.
Fine. And you gave him how much down?
It was $500.
So far, we agree on that?
No, ma'am.
How much did she give
She
you?
actually gave me nothing when I gave her the truck originally.
No, I have a copy of it. I have 2 council
But she
checks
did,
here.
in fact, give you money.
She did, yes.
How much did she give you at first?
At first, $500 check.
And when was that?
I received both checks of $500 increments by November 16th.
And did she have the truck prior to that?
Yes, ma'am.
When did she take possession of the truck?
Actually, a couple days after my original date, August 12th, that I gave her the truck.
So, according to her, it was the beginning of August. So you got possession. Listen to me, Miss Gardner. You got possession of the truck the beginning of August.
I have a check dated 8/14 of 06 for $500.
Fine. He says that you got possession of the truck before you gave him the check.
I'm not sure of the exact date, but that's probably close.
Fine. So let's say August 1st you got possession of the truck. August 14th you gave him $1,000.
I gave him $500 on 8/14 of 06 and another $500 on 10/13 of 06.
When were you supposed to give him the money?
We did not have a specific agreement. He said that I could pay him on it as I was able to.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am, that is.
Okay. So he was a nice guy. August, you gave him a check for $500. October, you gave him another check for $500, leaving a balance of?
It was about $1,100. I'd also given him $100 cash, $100 cash.
Forget about the cash.
Yeah.
So you
it'd
gave
be
him $1,000, leaving a balance of?
It'd be $1,400.
$1,500. Don't play with me.
Not including the $100 that I gave him.
Not including the $100.
Right.
In cash. You give him checks and then you give him cash?
Yep.
So you owed him $1,500. And you've already had the truck 4 months.
Yep.
Well, when were we supposed to complete the payments on this truck?
We had actually come up with the money, and we called him. My fiance Robin called him and said, "We have the rest of the money for the truck. Would you like us to go ahead and bring it to you?"
When was this?
This was later, after we found out that I'd asked him. I said, "Can I sell the truck to someone else? It's not working out for me." And he said, "Fine, no problem."
Just a second. Starting November, you've made no further payments. When did you call him and tell him you wanted to sell the truck?
It was approximately February 15th is when we called to offer him the rest of the money, so it had been about 2 weeks before that, so about February 1st.
So if you had the truck August, September, October, November, December, and January, 6 months.
Correct. I was also
Just a second.
making repairs on it.
I don't care whether you make it. You were using it. Who was supposed to make repairs on it, Byrd? You bought a truck that's 15 years old. 15 years old.
Yeah.
And you bought it for $2,500. You've had the truck now 6 months. You've paid less than half on it. And now, according to you, you call him up sometime in February.
Yeah.
And say to him, truck's not working out for me. Is that what you just said? I want to sell it. So, before you can sell something, you have to pay for it.
Well, I asked him, I said, I need to sell the truck. Is it okay if I go ahead and sell it to someone else and I'll give you the money that I owe you? He said, no problem, that's absolutely fire. And he had a friend of his that was also interested in the truck. So he came to my home and picked up the truck to show his friend.
When did he come to your home just a second. Yeah. When did he come to your home to pick up the truck?
It would have been sometime around between February 1st and February 15th, that 2-week period.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
So after that, he picked up the truck, took it to his home, and he said that he had a buyer for it, and no problem, I'll give you the $1,100 that you paid me on it, and no big deal. During that time, he had offered to pick up my son Zachary's dirt bike from the shop that I had taken it to. It was probably going to run me about $600 or $700 to get it fixed, and Andrew is very mechanically inclined and said, hey, let me pick it up, I'll take it to the house, fix it for Zachy, no problem. So that's what happened with the truck. So he fixed it, and I was calling him saying, hey, I need to get the bike back for Zach, and this and that. No return phone calls, text messaging, no return text messages, nothing. So on February 15th, he had possession of the truck. We called him and said, we have the rest of the money. Let's go ahead and we'll give you the money for the truck and just be done with it. You'll have a chance in a minute. Stop raising your hand. It's annoying and it's distracting. Go ahead. I said, we'll just give you the rest of the money for the truck, let's just get it done, And then after that, it was February 25th, I called and I talked to him about, or I sent him a text message and phoned him saying, I'm coming by to get Zachary's dirt bike. And at that time, he sent me a text message saying that he sold it, which I don't know how he could sell a dirt bike that he didn't have the title to without it being a legal transaction. So the bike at no point in time was ever collateral for that truck. He was doing me a favor. Actually, he's doing Zachary a favor in fixing the dirt bike. We never had an agreement that it was collateral.
So what do you want?
I want the money that I gave him for the $1,100 for the truck, and I want the money for the dirt bike to replace the dirt bike for my kid.
Well, so that means that you used his truck for 7 months. You used it, you put mileage on it, you did whatever you had to do. You used his truck for nothing?
Well, yeah. I mean, the truck it would be nice to get that money back. I want to replace my son's dirt bike.
Just a second. Well, I'm trying to understand, madam. You purchased something, you didn't finish paying for it, you used it for 7, 8 months, and now you want the money back that you gave him, which was less than half of the amount of the truck. I mean, let's break it down.
The reason I'm asking for that is because he said, hey, no problem, when I sell the truck or you sell the truck, when you find a buyer for it, I'll give you the money back. No big deal.
I'm going to listen to him, but you know why I question what you say to me?
Why?
Because you told me that on February 1st, you called him and you said, truck's not working out, right? And you said, I had the money because February 15th, you called and said to him, listen, let me come by and give you the money for the truck.
I actually didn't have the balance of the money until February 15th.
How were you getting the balance of the money?
My fiance, Robin.
Yes, your fiance, Robin, was what?
Giving me the money.
Well, why didn't he give you the money February 1st? Why didn't you say to him, let me come by and pick up the truck, and say to him, no, I'm going to have the balance of the money in 2 weeks, and then I'm going to sell the truck?
Well, I know that Robin had tried to call several times and offer that, and I wasn't present during all of those conversations.
No way. Baloney. Okay. Now, Mr. Beard.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's hear it, sir.
Well, first off,
who's this person?
This is my girlfriend, Danielle.
Okay, because she's been dying to tell me something. I'm going to let her talk in a minute.
She
Go
wasn't
ahead.
even here. She was living with a guy in Reno.
Okay. Well, first off, her
Just a
dates
second.
are way off.
Do not interrupt him. Do you understand? Perfect.
Her dates are actually incorrect on just about everything, unfortunately, except for when I did take the truck back. That was correct. Beginning of February, I actually brought my roommate, Sean, at the time. But regarding the phone call with Robin, I was actually called when I took the truck back, and I believe he actually did ask me to pay $500 right then, which he said he would give me a check.
Why did you go and take the truck back, sir?
Because at that point...
Look at me. Don't look down
Okay. At that point in time, I found out that Rob was driving the truck, who unfortunately had 3 DUIs and should not have been driving.
That's him.
Yes, ma'am.
Put your hand down.
And which I do have a police report for. And on top of that, I hadn't received money. I had been trying to call her and get the money. I was sick. I got injured in a rodeo. Told her many times I needed it.
When for the first time did you ask her for the money? After October?
It was actually after the first payment of $1,000 it's actually before December. Between November and December, I'd been asking her multiple times that I needed
And
money.
what was her excuse for not giving it to you?
Well, the few times that she actually did call me back, it was she just didn't have it. She wasn't working. She was working a different job. Rob was trying to work to get the money, but he had to pay off for classes for his DUIs and just was not able to get the money.
Just a minute. Okay. So you went to pick up the truck because you were repossessing it.
Yes, ma'am.
Title had never passed, I assume.
No, ma'am.
You had ownership of the
Yes,
truck
ma'am.
until it was paid off.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me about the dirt bike.
The dirt bike was actually given to me in end of August, and I was supposed to repair it like she had said. That was correct. And it actually was staying at my house because with her house she was renting, it just was cluttering up her garage, and I was still working on it, which was fine. And by the time the truck transaction was starting to go south, I had informed her I'd feel more comfortable if it stayed at my house until it was sold as collateral, and she did agree upon that, and it was considered just to stay at my house, and I was going to fix it and had every intention on giving it back if my truck was either fully paid off or given back to me in the condition I had given it to them.
Okay, so you took the truck back.
Yes, ma'am.
First thing, let me tell you, Mr. Beard, she's not getting the money back for the truck. She used your truck. She did not fulfill your contract. She is not entitled to any money back. It's not as if she took it and had it for one day. She took it and used it, and he drove it. No question in my mind, he drove it. My concern is with this bike. So now you have the truck. Did you sell the truck?
No, ma'am, I traded it.
You traded it for
It
what?
was hard selling it because when I had taken the truck back, it was at my house. I was in the process of repairing it, which it extensively needed, and they had came to my house when I was in Chico on business, called me, quickly left a message saying, I'm picking up the truck, I'm leaving my car for you. Before I even, that's not acceptable. I'm working on this
What do you mean they're
truck.
leaving that car for you?
They just said they would leave her car with the keys. I had no idea. By the time I got back home, there was her car with keys under the tire and my truck gone.
What kind of car did you leave?
A 99 Infiniti G20.
What did you leave it for?
Andrew had known that I was going to use the truck to move. I was moving out of my house. It was
just a second. So you were using, just a second.
So I picked up the truck and used it to move.
You picked up the truck to use it.
Yes.
When?
I don't know the exact date.
You know
but
the date?
I don't. I'm horrible with dates.
Early February.
Early February,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
It was February, so she left her car and picked up the truck after you had repossessed it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got it. When you say you traded it in, what did you trade it in for?
I traded it for a boat because I felt at that time I can get more money after repairing the boat than I could the truck. Because when I received the truck after she had taken it, after I repossessed it, the tailgate was smashed, my bed liner was scratched, the side of the truck. It was very apparent that they were bitter about me taking the truck and smashed
You have pictures of it?
I have pictures of how it looked. Unfortunately, I do not have pictures of how it looked after.
Well, why didn't you take pictures afterwards, sir?
Oh, I traded it as soon as it was messed up.
Well, then that's a problem that you have,
That was
sir.
my problem, yes, ma'am.
It certainly is a problem. Where's the dirt bike?
The dirt bike I sold after that, too.
Well, that was a mistake.
Yes, ma'am.
What year dirt bike was this?
She claimed it was a 2004 and that she had title.
You have the
I
title
have the
too?
title right here.
I'd like
It's
to
a-
see it.
It's an 04 Honda CRF 50.
Let me see. Okay. How much did you sell it for?
$550, which was totally going to cover the mud in my radiator, the damage to my tailgate, the smashed spark plugs, and the condition overall the truck was running.
I don't know what these things cost. I have no idea.
I actually have a blue book statement.
I'd like to see it.
Yes, ma'am.
I also have an estimate from Roseville Cycle Center that would be the replacement value as well
I'll
as...
use Blue Book.
It shows the retail and MSRP in 2004 of what that bike went for.
Okay. SRP in 2004 was $1,100. Retail now is $749, and the average trade-in was $562. But if she went to purchase it at this point, she'd have to pay $750. Is that what I'm understanding from this?
Yes, in an excellent condition. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What was wrong with it when you gave it to him to fix?
My son had got water in the tailpipe when he was washing it, so it just needed to be cleaned out.
Is that right?
No, ma'am.
I didn't think so. Otherwise, why would he have?
I'm not very good with
Otherwise,
dirt
why
bikes,
would he
so
have
I
it?
don't know.
Otherwise, why would he have it since August? If all you had to do was just clean out the tailpipe.
It was running before that.
What had to be done with the bike?
The tailpipe did have to be cleaned out, the inside of the motor as well, because unfortunately it had smoke and oil burnout in it and mud, again, in the engine.
Fine. You shouldn't have sold her bike. Shouldn't have sold her bike. I understand your frustration, but you shouldn't have sold her bike. She doesn't get her $1,100 back, and she doesn't get what she's looking for, which was $2,700, because that's ludicrous. She gets $550, which is the trade-in value of the bike, and that's what you got for it.
Okay.
Right?
Yes,
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $550. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Excuse me. You were dying to say something. Is there anything that you were dying to say?
No, he covered it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Janet Aldoff is suing the father of her son's schoolmate, Mark Witt, for the cost to fix her boy's saxophone. Janet claims Mark's son, 13-year-old Brian, smashed it.
Aldoff, it is your claim that the defendant's son, this little boy right over here, is responsible for breaking your son's saxophone at school. Mr. Witt's son says that your son started the problem. He was first bullying him, and then he took property from him, a comic book, and threw it to the ground, which caused him to take a bag containing the saxophone and throwing it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you all have a seat? Tell me your first name.
Daniel.
Brian. How old are you, Daniel?
13.
How old are you, Brian?
12.
Stand up by on your own 2 feet and put your hands down at your sides. Don't lean on the table. Daniel, in the past 3 years, how many times has your mother had to come to school because you've had disciplinary problems?
None, ma'am.
Brian, in the last 3 years, how many times have your parents come to school because of disciplinary problems?
3.
How do you think I knew that? You think I'm psychic?
I know you're not, ma'am.
But I knew that.
Yes.
How do you think I knew? He's cute. He's in trouble. Gotta look at his face. How many children do you have, sir?
2, ma'am.
I got a few more. I know the face. I know the look. It's got attitude, which is a good thing, but it's got to be channeled. That's what I'm here to do, Brian.
Yes,
Channel your attitude. All right. Tell me, when did this happen in school?
Before school started.
Tell me what happened, please, and keep your voice up.
Yes, ma'am. We were standing outside.
Who's we?
Me, Brian, and 2 other boys.
Friends of all of yours?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, and we were all standing around my saxophone. And I made a comment, and I said, why are we all standing around my saxophone? Are we going to praise it? And we all started laughing. And one of the other boys started making these unfunny jokes. And Brian picked up my saxophone and threw it against the ground.
Now, was the saxophone in a bag?
Yes, ma'am.
Did Brian say anything to you when he did that?
He said, oops, in a sarcastic tone and started laughing.
You had to use the saxophone subsequently that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And what happened?
I tried to play and only 3 of the notes I could play would come out.
Did you have it fixed?
No, ma'am.
So it's still broken?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, all right, Brian. Remembering that I know everything.
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to tell me your version of what happened on March 14th.
We had just arrived at school, and I went over to Danny and our friends, and he started making comments about me.
Who started?
Danny or one of his friends.
So either Daniel or one of his friends started making comments about you. Like what?
They had made fun of... I don't really remember.
So what happened next?
I had gotten mad, and he threatened to throw my book.
Who threatened to throw your book?
Danny.
What did he say to you?
He had said something about my mom or a family member.
He did or his friend?
He did, I believe.
You get over with this kind of stuff with your father? You don't get over it with me. Where was your book?
It was beside my book bag on the ground.
On the book bag. And this is a story you told your father?
Yes, ma'am.
So what did you do?
I had gotten really mad, and I picked up his saxophone bag. I didn't even know there was one in it.
What did you think was in it? His lunch? Huh? What did you think was in the bag, that instrument? What did you think it was?
Gym clothes or books.
Go ahead.
I picked it up and slung it up against the wall.
All right. Mr. Witt, would you stand up? How much did you pay for the saxophone in the pawn shop, Miss Adolph?
It was around $300.
Did you get an estimate on fixing it?
Yes, I have an estimate, Your Honor.
Can I see it, please?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Witt, you want to say anything to me?
Yes, ma'am. I don't think my son was right on what he did.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear. And you also don't think that he told me the truth, do you? And they didn't tell you the truth either. Because I read your answer, I read his statement, and nowhere was the word "I believe" in there. Somebody said something to me, it was Danny or one of his friends. Well, who said something about your family? Him, you sure? No, it could have been somebody else. Did he tell that to you? What did he tell you when he came home? But the explanation that he gave you was that this young boy was teasing him. He was bullying him because he's taller than he is. And that's what started this. That's what he told you because that's what you wrote.
And I didn't pay any attention to that.
Oh, great. Mr. Witt, perfect. Don't pay any attention to it because, you know why? Because it's not true.
It didn't matter. It wouldn't be a good excuse to break somebody's things anyway.
I know, but the most important thing is this young man thinks that he can get over. And that's a real problem because he's 12. And if he thinks that he can get over when he's 12, and you had to go to school at least 3 times with him for disciplinary problems, after the first time it would have been too many. So you look like a very nice man, and you look like the kind of man who accepts responsibility. And you said even if he was picking on him and threw his comic book to the ground, it was no excuse for breaking his instrument. All perfect, responsible, reasonable things. The only thing is you've got to infuse that to him because he's getting too old. He can't get away with cute anymore. You understand me, Sarah?
Yes, ma'am.
You have, look at me. You have brothers and sisters at home?
One sister.
How old?
9.
So you're the example?
Yes, ma'am.
And your father works?
He's retired military.
Your mother works?
Yes.
So your father worked his whole life, your mother works, they provide for you, they provide a home for you, they put food on the table, they take care of you. You know what your responsibility is?
School.
Your responsibility is to grow up to be a nice human being.
Yes, ma'am.
And a responsible human being, and a trustworthy human being, and a human being that tells the truth all the time. Mr. Witt, your defense is, according to your son, he was being bullied, which we both know is not true, and B, that they're asking for too much for the saxophone.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to hear the second part, that they're asking too much for the repair of the saxophone.
Well, I got a copy of the estimate.
I'd like to see a copy of the estimate. It's exactly what I have.
Yes, ma'am. I believe some of the items on there are maintenance problems that have nothing to do with
Major belly and body damage, $120. Bent keys and rods, $150. Repair part, $44. What's out of line to you? Absolutely nothing. So, okay. Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $351.22. Remember what I said to you, sir. If you listen to any part of what I said to you, believe me, your life will be much happier. That's all.
24-year-old Tanya Rendon is suing her ex-roommate, 23-year-old Crystal Zepeda, for 2 months' rent and utility bills. Tanya says Crystal was a disrespect.
And then Miss Cepeda was your roommate. According to you, she owes you a couple of months' rent and some utility bills. Miss Cepeda says you told her to leave the apartment. She owes you nothing. Who signed the lease to the apartment?
I did.
So it was just in your name?
No, it's both of our names, but she never stopped by the office to sign it.
Listen to me, Miss Rendon. If she didn't sign the lease was in your name.
It was printed with both of our names, but she...
Show me the lease. I mean, are you not following what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be easy.
What happened was that...
I don't care what happened. This is a contract.
Yeah.
This is the only contract that exists with the landlord. Who signed it?
I did.
Period. We're going to start again. And I'm going to try to come down. You moved into the apartment. The lease is in your name only. Is that correct?
Yes.
But you moved in together.
Yes.
And according to you, you had an arrangement with her that you would split all the rent and all the utilities on this apartment. Lease is from September 1st, 06 to February 28th, 07. When did you move out?
I moved out January 31st.
Now, according to what I read, you paid January's rent, and then you went and withdrew money from the bank so that the check bounced.
Right.
Now, you try to explain to me why you do not owe January's rent if you lived there, according to you, until January 31st.
Because I wasn't really staying there.
I don't give a rat's behind whether you were really staying there or not. Your things were there.
Right.
So you owe January's rent.
Yes.
I would like to say something, Your Honor. She agreed to stay there till March 1st.
Why don't you be quiet?
Okay.
How much was your half of the rent?
$590.
Put your hand down. So far you owe her $590 for the month of January because you can't give her a bad check for January. Do you understand?
Yes.
Did you pay the utilities in January?
No, I did not.
How much are the utilities in January? January only.
January, they're $90 a month.
So far, that's $680. Now, according to you, she also owes for February. Now you can tell me why she owes for February when she moved out January 31st.
When she first moved in, the agreement was that she was going to pay $590 a month until March 1st. It was a 6-month lease. Throughout that time, she kept paying her rent late. She also was very disrespectful to the point that she had people have sex in our apartment with me there.
Wow. You want to tell me about February? Because so far you haven't told me about
February. I couldn't find a roommate. Obviously, I had to come up with the money to cover for February because she just pretty much left. She didn't even bother cleaning the room.
She says that you told her to leave. Is that right?
2 weeks before the end of January, she told me that she had found a new roommate that would be moving in the beginning of February.
Who that was?
She told me a girl that she found on Craigslist would be moving into the apartment.
So you decided to terminate this roommate relationship
Yes.
well prior to January 31st.
Yes.
Because you had discussed moving out.
Right.
You say it was her fault. She says it's your fault. It was clear from reading the complaint and answer that the two of you did not have compatible lifestyles.
Right.
All right. Go ahead.
So in January, at the middle of January, I decided, I guess I don't have a choice. She had notified me that I would have to be leaving the apartment because she found a new roommate, and so I decided, okay.
Where did you find this new roommate?
She was a friend of my ex-roommate, one of my ex-roommates.
And when did she move in?
She moved in March 1st.
So you had to cover the rent yourself in February,
Yes,
right?
I did.
That's too bad. She owes you $680 for January. Anything else?
No.
Anything else?
The bills, I mean, she didn't pay for the bills for dinner.
$680. Get over it. That's all.
25-year-old Aaron London is suing his former co-worker, Corey Bell, for defaming his character. Aaron claims Corey passed around a phony Craigslist ad.
Mr. London, did you and the defendant work in the same company?
Yes, at one point we did.
This is your complaint. You put an ad in Craigslist. I gather you went to school to become a massage therapist?
Yes.
And you put an ad on Craigslist for massages with your picture on it. Does that have your picture?
Yes.
Mr. Bell saw that ad on Craigslist. Is that right, sir?
I did.
And he thought it was really funny that you had posted that ad on Craigslist. So far, am I right?
Yes.
So he circulated it around the office. He sent it to a lot of other people. He thought it was funny, like, you know, like people send jokes on the computer, and he sent it to a whole lot of other people. So you're suing him for defamation because you were very embarrassed.
Yes.
That's what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. London, can I see the ad, please? Okay. So this says, hello, ladies. Imagine casting your eyes upon this gorgeous whatever. It's got pictures of you, right? And it says, massage for big, beautiful women. Reply to personals. It looks like a number at Craigslist.org. And when people reply to this personal, they get you. Is that right?
Well, they get transferred to an email, yeah.
But it's you.
No, not in this particular case. There's a little bit more to the story that hasn't been revealed yet.
Sir, all I want to know
Yes.
is it comes back to you.
Yes.
Now, is this the same ad that you sent to other people?
Yes.
You didn't modify it in any way?
No, didn't modify
You didn't
it.
change it? You didn't add words?
No,
You didn't...
no, I didn't. I just sent the link.
You sent the link and you said, take a look at this.
That's it.
That's not a crime, Mr. London. That's not a crime. That's not a lawsuit.
Yeah, there's a little bit more to it.
Well, give me 30 seconds, sir. That's what happened. You put this
Well-
ad that you didn't want to be circulated among your
No.
office mates. He circulated it among your office mates. If you didn't want it out there, you shouldn't have printed it.
Well, no, that actually isn't what happened. What happened is I work for the bank, and I also have a personal training and massage therapy business, like you said. And another kind of job side also that I do is I write personal ads for Craigslist. Also ads for businesses, whoever needs advertising.
Very nice.
who
I'm
lacks-
not an advertisement for you, sir. So you have a lot of businesses. You
And-
put this on Craigslist.
Yes, technically speaking.
That's what
But
we're here for.
That ad wasn't for me.
Who cares
I
who it
wrote
was
the ad
for?
for somebody else. This
Who cares who it was for? Who cares? He doesn't know that. All he knows is this is the ad that he saw on Craigslist. He had every right to send it to whoever he wanted to send it to.
to my work, but well, he doesn't work in the workplace anymore. This
I
is,
don't care. He could have sent it to the King of Siam. He could have sent it to me. He could have sent it to the President of the United States. He could have sent it to the Vice President of the United States or the Secretary of the Interior. It doesn't make any difference. It's out there in cyberspace, put on the internet by you, Mr. London. He could send it to whoever he wants. It's open. That's what it is. It's like sending an open letter.
to send it to my job for what? For
Who
laughs?
cares? If you don't want to be embarrassed, you don't put embarrassing things on the internet, Mr. London. If you don't want to be embarrassed, keep your private thoughts to yourself.
But the ad is not mine, is what I'm trying to tell you. Can I actually tell you?
Listen,
what,
Mr. London, I understand the nonsense what you wrote in your complaint. You said you were doing an ad for somebody else, and this was just a sample of what the ad would look like. But Mr. Bell doesn't know that because you posted this on Craigslist.
But how does he know I posted it?
It doesn't make any difference whether he knows you posted it or not, sir. It's here. It's out there in the world. Just like he sees it, anybody else can see it. He can send it to whomever he wants to send it. The truth of the matter is, you did post it on Craigslist. Did somebody tie you down and take these pictures?
No, those are sample pictures.
Those are pictures that
The
you...
pictures don't even match the ad, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh,
it's
yes,
not
they
even...
do. Oh, yeah, listen, Mr. London, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me, sir. This may have aggravated you. It may have upset you. It's a very good lesson. If you want to think privately, you go, I want to take it all in, and this is what I want to do. I want to keep these thoughts to myself. If you want to give massages to big, beautiful women, and that's what you're thinking about, and I'm going to see it, but I'm not going to write it in a letter to my mother, or my sister, or my boyfriend, or my girlfriend. I'm going to keep it to myself. Once you type it in the machine, and you write send, it's over. It's out there. It's in Mexico and Burma and
Jersey
and Brooklyn. It's all over the place. And you can't complain about it if somebody says, this is really funny. I want to send it to everybody that I know who knows this jerk who posted this on Craigslist. So, Mr. London, grow up. You want to keep things to yourself? You want to talk into your pillow. Don't talk into your computer. Case is dismissed.
James Mixon is suing his former live-in girlfriend, Keisha Glade, for the return of his furniture and baseball cards.
Mr. Mixon, you and the defendant lived together for a period of time in her home.
Yes.
And according to you, she unceremoniously kicked you out and kept some furniture that belongs to you.
Yes.
You want it back. Ms. Glade says that you were nothing but a lazy bum during the time that you lived there. You paid no rent. The least you could do is leave the old furniture there. It's not worth very much anyway. She is counterclaiming. She says that you should have paid rent, but you didn't, and that you slashed her tires because you got mad at her. So let me make this simple. The fact that he should have paid rent, you are absolutely correct. But that doesn't mean he's going to pay rent, because you allowed him to be a bum.
True.
So, you were an enabler. How long did he live with you?
For a year and a month.
And how many months of those 13 months that he lived with you did he pay rent?
None.
None? Why are you laughing?
Because that was funny.
No, she's not funny. I'm funny.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. James Mixon claims ex-girlfriend Keisha Glade won't return his personal belongings. Keisha is countersuing for unpaid rent and slashed tires.
How many months did you pay rent, Mr. Mixon?
None, like she said.
You were a bum.
No.
Well, if you don't pay rent, you're a bum.
We never had an agreement on
You
that.
don't have to have an agreement.
I was supposed to take care of the other bills.
What other bills did you take care of?
PG&E, water, and cable.
How much was that a month?
About $600.
And you would pay all those bills, and you have proof that you paid those bills?
Yes, and
I'd like to see.
Here's some of the bills. This doesn't go with that.
And proof that you paid them?
I got the receipts. If I gave her the receipt, it was only because she dropped me off at work early.
What's the Salvation Army?
We went and bought a computer desk and a TV stand that I paid for. She said I don't do nothing though.
When did you buy this furniture?
I bought it maybe a month after I moved in with her. I came in with a futon. I came in with a stereo set. I came in with that set of baseball cards right there.
Oh, well, that set of baseball
That's
cards?
mine. I had since I was.
I don't have a problem giving it back to him.
Can I see the set of baseball cards, please? Oh, one of my children would be bonkers over those baseball cards. I have to take a look at that. Are you a real collector, sir?
Yes. I had those since I was in the
mint
sixth grade.
condition, or what kind of condition?
They're
are
in
these?
mint condition.
Really? You know they're worth a lot of money. Are these Topps baseball cards?
Tops and Fleers.
Well, Fleers aren't worth as much.
I know.
right?
That's why I try to stay more with Tops.
See, I know a little bit about it.
I see.
Okay. Give him back his baseball cards, Butcher Bird. Surprised he left without them.
I also had a pending restraining order which granted me possession rights of the bed, the couch, the TV, and the lamps that he's here.
Show me. You mean property restraint that number 13 is circled? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I actually filed it. It asked me what possessions that I still had for me to temporarily keep possession of.
Well, you can't temporarily keep possession of his property anymore. He's going to pick it up. You have a temporary restraining order. You have to send somebody to get your stuff.
Okay, but
Sir, within 5 days. Do you understand?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
I just want my rent.
Just a second. Listen to me. You're not entitled to any rent. You didn't have a contract with him for rent.
We had a verbal agreement. The whole initial reason why he moved in was because I needed financial help.
Listen to me very carefully. Madam, if you let somebody live with you for 13 months and they're not paying rent, you don't come to complain about it now. He's getting his furniture back. He got his cards back. Now we're going to hear about your tires, and I don't want to hear any nonsense about rent.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Oh, tires.
Well, my witness here saw him slash the second tire on that day.
Your name?
Leandra Whitmore.
On what day did you allegedly see Mr. Mixon slash a tire?
I forgot.
No, don't look over there. Don't look over here. Look over here.
I forgot what day it was on, but it was the same day as the first tire. We were at the studio recording. I'm a recording engineer. I record her. And I heard the car skirt by the first time. I was sitting at the computer. And I had came outside. When I came outside, I saw him by her left tire. Then he ran and got in his car and drove off.
Did you tell her about it?
I came right in.
Did you file a police report that day?
No, we didn't do a police report.
Why not?
Because that was the first incident of numerous amounts of incidents.
What difference does it make?
Because I didn't want to get in it because he's family with my uncle, and I didn't want to say anything, but things keep happening.
Did you ever file a police report?
No, ma'am.
I filed one later after his witness started harassing us.
I mean, this lady?
Yes.
She has nothing to do with this case. She has nothing to do with me. She has nothing to do with anything that's going on here today.
I agree.
The only thing that I have to worry about today is, am I satisfied that he slashed a tire? I'm not so down. Thank you. I'm not convinced you saw anything. I am convinced that you're going to get your old furniture back. 5 days. You make the arrangements to get it, send somebody else to get it. And who is this person?
That's the neighbor. She's the one who pulled my clothes in when Keisha threw my stuff out in the rain.
Okay.
Absolutely not. She's a nosy hag.
Listen to me. Whose neighbor is she?
She's my neighbor.
Okay, well, good luck. Bye.
Step out. Grace Collins says former business associate Melissa Ballin owes for a trip to India and for unpaid loans. Melissa says the trip and money were compensation for her work.
Ms. Collins, according to what I read, you hired the defendant to do some filming for you for a documentary that was going to be shot. According to your complaint, you bought a ticket, a non-refundable ticket, for her to India, gave it to her. And in addition, you claim that you made a loan to her in the amount of $400 or $500. The trip was canceled because your visa was terminated. You needed a visa to travel there. And the defendant kept the ticket and refuses to give you back your $500. The defendant says you told her to keep the ticket. She used the ticket. She went to the Cannes Film Festival. The trip was canceled not because of anything she did. She had given up her housing in anticipation of going with you. She says she doesn't owe you anything, the $500 that you did in fact give her for expenses that she incurred. Okay. Just tell me what this briefly, what this documentary was about.
First of all, my name is Grace Collins, and I'm the honorary ambassador of Nagalum.
Just listen to me. This is not an audition. I know your name is Collins, and all I want you to do is answer my question. My question is a simple one. Can you answer it?
We were going to expose the genocide in Nagalim.
Genocide of?
The Naga people in Northeast India.
Have you been there before?
Yes, I have.
How many times?
Once before.
When?
2005.
And when did you meet Miss Balin?
I met her on January 21st, 2009, the day after the inauguration.
What is your profession?
I'm a filmmaker, an independent filmmaker.
Have you ever made anything that was commercially successful?
Yes. Yes,
What?
I've produced 5 feature films since the age of 19.
Is that how you make a living?
You could call it a living, yes.
No, I'm asking you what you call it.
It's not quite enough of a living, but it is my
What do
sole
you do?
source of income.
It is your sole source of
Yes.
income? Okay. Tell me about the trip to India.
We were planning to go on February 8th, from like February 8th to the 17th.
And what arrangements did you make with her for payment?
That I would just pay for her air ticket and visas.
What about her expenses?
There would be no additional expenses.
Well, how was she going to live there between the 8th and
the
the
Nagas
17th?
would pay for everything, the hotel, food, and everything.
Plus,
that's how they
and
host.
all the expenses.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
All of us got our visas, except for one gentleman that she was bringing to the table.
How much did it cost to get your visa?
$73 a person.
Okay.
So she had to fly up from LA to San Francisco because there is no consulate that could do it in such a short amount of time. So she flew up to San Francisco, and then she called me from San Francisco subway station and said she lost her wallet, and therefore I would need to pay her some more money.
Well, how much money had you given her to fly to San Francisco?
$350.
Go ahead.
And then on 2 days before we were to leave, I got a call from the Indian consulate that my visa was revoked. Oh, but prior to that, the minute I got the visas, I purchased tickets online. And this is how I travel. You can see proof that I got my visa and all the travel
Well,
that
your
I've
visa
done.
was revoked, and you got the airline ticket, and the airline ticket was non-refundable.
I did not realize that, but I've never
it was.
canceled a trip before in my whole life.
You say that the airline ticket was non-refundable.
That's what they told me.
Fine.
If-
and how
if
much
I
was,
may, Your
just a
Honor?
second, how much was her ticket?
$1,114.40.
Okay. When did you cancel the trip?
Well, the minute we heard our visas were revoked.
What date?
February 6th.
And when did you call the defendant and let her know that the trip was going
The
to
same
be...
day.
Okay. And what did you tell her to do with her ticket?
I told her I was fighting the case on the basis of frustration of purpose. Our mission was to go there, and we were not able to go by a third entity, a known entity of having our visas revoked, that I was going to fight it.
I
on
understand that you were fighting it. What happened with your ticket, by the way?
Well, in my case, my father had 3 seizures at the same time.
What happened with your ticket?
I was refunded my ticket on the basis of my father's illness.
But canceled the ticket?
No. I canceled it based on revoked visa.
Ms. Collins, are you telling me that you provided medical documentation about your father's seizures to the airlines, and based on that they refunded your money?
Yes.
Well, then that was false. That's what you're telling me. I mean, that wasn't the reason that you weren't going.
No, on both reasons. I told him it was a
All
revoked
right.
visa, and it was also my father.
When
had
did you
gotten sick.
turn in your ticket?
When did I convert my ticket to use it? Shortly before April 3rd.
Okay. Now, trip was canceled in February, correct?
Yes.
Between February and April, what communication did you have with Ms. Collins about returning that ticket to you?
About somewhere up to 30 days from the cancellation of the trip, Ms. Collins called me to notify me that Continental Airlines had denied her claim, that the tickets were non-refundable, that she was going to have to litigate against the Indian government to be reimbursed because she had gone through all the procedures with Continental, and that the ticket was only usable in my name, that she would not be reimbursed, and that the ticket was only good for 1 year. So could I use the ticket, she suggested, and pay her the difference so that she could be reimbursed? I was very clear during that phone conversation that as an independent filmmaker, I was not in the position to take a trip and reimburse her, and that I wouldn't use the ticket.
How was she to be reimbursed with regard to the time that she'd spent in San Francisco?
We never discussed that because we didn't even know that was going to happen.
So that, at least in part, you would say, Ms. Collins, the payment that the defendant was to recoup as a result of this enterprise was she was going to get a free trip to someplace and have all of our expenses paid and have the ability to participate in the making of this documentary.
Only in Nagaland.
I understand that.
This whole thing about coming from LA to San Francisco came out of the blue.
Well, she had to go there. You explained that to me. She couldn't get it in Los Angeles.
I know, but I'm saying...
She couldn't get it in Los Angeles. She had to travel to San Francisco.
Right, but I'm saying...
In furtherance of the project.
Correct.
All right. Fine.
But I'm saying...
Miss Collins, what happened was, and I gather, Miss Balin, what you did was you converted the ticket and you used it for travel someplace else.
At her suggestion.
Well, what she wanted you to do was to see if you could use it and give her money.
Right, and at that point...
you said, I'm not doing that.
And she said, then use it anyway because it's void in 1 year time.
Yeah. She wouldn't have gotten back her money from the airlines if she hadn't submitted a medical reason of her father's illness in order to get it back, and she certainly couldn't use that for you.
And I confirmed...
Just a second. Sorry. How many other airline tickets did you purchase, Miss Collins?
I purchased 4.
Were you able to get any other money back other than for your ticket?
Not yet. I'm still in the process.
The answer is no.
I'm in the process of...
The answer is no, correct?
I'm still working on it.
The answer is no.
No, for now.
Well, no, for now. And the only reason you got yours back is because you lied to the airlines.
I did not lie.
Yes, you did.
No, I can prove that my father...
Absolutely. Stop playing.
I can prove my father's medical.
Listen to me.
Can you take this up?
No, he can't. Listen to me very carefully. Look at me. You tried to get it back based upon the fact that your visa was revoked. That's what you told me first. You couldn't. And then somebody said to you, well, see if you can use a medical excuse, because if a close family member is ill...
It all happened at the same time. It happened at the same time.
I tell you what we do. I'm dismissing your case with regard to the airline ticket without prejudice. If you are successful in recouping from the airlines money for the other 2 tickets that you purchased, you have leave to come back here. I don't think that that's going to happen.
Did you sue the others on the basis of frustration of purpose?
You tried frustration of purpose.
No, I did not yet.
It didn't work.
No, I have not.
Well, then why did you use a different reason for yourself than you want to use for everybody else?
Well, that also happened at exactly the same time, which you can see.
Did you hear my answer? I'm not looking at it. It's irrelevant.
It's very relevant. If your father had 3 seizures.
It's irrelevant to your claim. I just told you if you are successful in suing for the return of the money for the other 2 tickets, you have leave to come back against this defendant. I don't know if the decision will be the same or different, but you have leave to come back. Now let's get to the money that you allegedly loaned her. How much money did you give her in total?
I gave her an extra $146.
$146 you gave her twice?
Correct.
Is that correct?
It was the initial $350 and an additional $146.
Okay. And the $146 you either lost or was stolen, is that right?
Well...
That's either a yes or a no?
Yes.
Okay, so that you owe her, $146, because she gave that to you once. She doesn't have to give it to you twice. Now,
but my
what
trip
about
was
the
extended.
Yeah, what about the other money?
$500, which she clearly says here that she loaned me. I mean, that I loaned her and that she's...